Yo, 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 what up? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this live stream out to all of your followers. All right, let's make it interactive. Type in some comments. I'll check them out, see what's going on. But there's a couple things that I want to talk to everybody about. All right. So I'm going to actually just get right into it. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, I'm going to wait until there's people in the room. I don't really care because y'all can just watch the replay. I don't take my live streams down. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the podcast that I recorded yesterday. And I know that it may have sounded like I was being very overly critical, and I get it. The way that I recorded the live podcast was meant to create that conflict. I wanted people to think, you know what I mean? And I think that I was able to achieve that effect because, in my opinion, the way people have to deal with things in the future is deal with them strategically, not a lot of knee-jerk reaction. Now, one thing that I would like to make sure that everybody knows is that when it comes to dealing with that situation, if it came off as if I was blaming the victims, absolutely not. I don't want anybody to think that because that's not what I was doing at all. That definitely was not my intention. What I was doing was I was trying to show people that there are different ways to deal with conflict. There are more lasting and effective ways to deal with conflict. And one of the most important measures of how a conflict is dealt with. Jew Balance, what's good, my brother? Good to see you, man. I hope you're doing good, bro. If you on YouTube, come over here. Black Light Revelations 2. Good to see you, though, bro. I ain't seen you in a minute, man. I hope everything is good. Yo, what you think about this situation with Rachael Nichols? I'm gonna get into that in a minute because we're gonna bust out the whole New York Times article. We're gonna go into that whole entire thing. But if you want, you can stay over there if you want to, but the chat will probably be more active in YouTube. So come on over, man. If you know what I'm saying, if you're around. Good to see you though, my brother. So I don't want anybody to think that, you know, I was in any way, shape, or form blaming the victims. I think I might have come off like that. And I definitely don't want anybody to think that because that's not what I was trying to do at all. What I wanted to do is open up people's minds. I want people to be able to think, and I want people to say, well, wait a minute. Yes, this may sound like it feels good. Yes, this may sound like it's the right thing to do. Yes, at the moment, this may seem like it's the right thing to do. However, what is the lasting impact going to be? How are we going to sustain from this? Is this going to deter future behaviors or future actions like this? That's the most important thing, in my opinion, because once you're able to deter those kind of things, then it's a little bit easier for you to be able to move around in the real world. You don't have to worry about repeated violations. And apparently that guy was a repeat violator. They said that he'd been terrorizing that community for a very long time. And that's not cool. You know what I mean? Like they should have been stopped him. And also, in my opinion, it's important to understand how to remedy and deal with those kind of things without police intervention. Again, one of the reasons why I was so critical, because anytime there's police intervention involved, you always run the risk of a casualty because the police are not coming to a situation, especially if it's to a place like where that guy was causing all those problems. They're not coming there to service you. They're coming there to make you the blame, which is what they said that they were going to do. In that article that I read, they're reassessing the tapes to see who was throwing the bottles and see who was throwing the water. Well, you came there for a guy who was a disturbance. You know what I'm saying? The concentration and the focal point should be on him. But instead, what you guys want to do is you want to worry about who was throwing bottles and who was throwing water, which, again, that's why, you know, not having emotional responses is so key. That's why keeping poise and composure is so key. That's why critical thinking and logically thinking your way through problems is key. So if I gave off a tone as if, you know, I was, quote, shaming the people, I know I was saying I was being kind of harsh. I don't want you guys to get that message because that's not what the intention was. All right. So I just thought I should say that. Yeah, I just want to clarify that. You know what I mean? So Kwame Brown, Rachael Nichols, this whole situation. There's a lot of people who have been out here for a very long time saying that everything that we see in the media is not real. It's an illusion. It's fake. This is something that I've said for a long time. This is something that a lot of people have said for a long time. None of this is my original idea. So if I got on here and just started hating on Kwame, like, oh, yeah, this dude is taking my content. I mean, there's a lot of people who feel this way. There's a lot of people who believe these things. There's a lot of people who have that knowledge and just know, like, yo, something's not right about this. I'm seeing these things, and these things are not really making a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? And I've always said, me personally, that there's puppet masters. In a system of illegitimacy, there's always something behind the pawn that's making the move. It's never original action. It's never original thought. That's why we can talk these diversity issues as much as we want to. Fake with the censorship and it's straight a dictatorship. I mean, yeah. You know what I mean? We've been living under a dictatorship for a long time. I totally agree, Chris. But what we got to do is we got to assess these situations. If you watch my last live streams, which I, advise everybody to go back and do, we talked about the Hegelian dialectic. Now, my question is for everybody, do you know what the Hegelian dialectic is? Because without saying it, that's one of the things that Kwame Brown is talking about. He's talking about how these props and these puppets are put in front of people's faces. All right. I recently did 2 videos, and if you haven't watched them, please go through and watch them all the way through to the end. You know what I'm saying? That helps your boy out, helps move the content up. Anybody that's in here right now, help your boy out with a like, a share, a comment. All right, say what's up, say hi, so I know who you are. You know what I mean? Steven Jackson, Stack 5, Matt Barnes, and Jason Whitlock are all coming from different angles, but they're saying and doing the same thing. Now, this is what I find interesting, right? I just did a video about an article from Blaze. And in this article from Blaze, Jason Whitlock criticizes Maria Taylor and says that Maria Taylor is not as tough as Rachael Nichols. Now, that's interesting because you got to ask yourself the question, wait a minute. Rachael Nichols is a liberal. Rachael Nichols is on the opposite side of the fence. So Jason Whitlock is coming to her rescue? In this article that I'm going to read, it even has Rachael Nichols where she makes statements criticizing Trump supporters. So you got to ask yourself, now you have somebody who's all the way over here, like Stack 5 or like Matt Barnes, and then you have other people who are all the way over here, like Jason Whitlock. Now let's break this down. What's similar about Jason Whitlock, Matt Barnes, and Stack 5? Well, we all know they're all black males. You know what I'm saying? But they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, and they're still taking up for the same person, but they're doing it in different ways. My question for y'all, if you are or aren't familiar with my content, what does that say? What is that a warning sign of? In my opinion, that's a warning sign of a fake narrative. When you have allegedly 2 alleged competing sides and they're propagating the same message, but doing it in, quote, different ways, it's fake. There's more to it than meets the eye. And as we all know, there always will be, because we live in a system of illegitimacy. And in that system of illegitimacy, everything that we see is upside down, opposite, inside out, inverse, and incorrect. All right. You have a black dude that's clearly a self-hater. You know what I mean? Jason Whitlock taking up for Rachael Nichols. Now, mind you, Rachael Nichols, in most cases, talks political talking points completely against what Jason Whitlock represents. You know what I'm saying? However, then you have Stack 5 and Matt Barnes doing it, but they're doing it in a different way. How do you advocate and diss somebody at the same time coming from the same direction? Your last 2 videos were on point. Thank you, Miss Jazzy, for a reason 2.0. I appreciate it. So this is the thing that I want people to do. A lot of times, the reason why they put these images on TV is because they want to train you to think a certain way. They want to control your mind. They want to automatically distract you. They want to present information while distracting you at the same time. I'm going to present a tidbit of information just to get you involved, and then we're going to stray away from that involvement to the emotional part. And usually once people begin to get emotions evolved in their thought process, or anger or hatred, they're not thinking as accurately as they usually would. And that's the goal. That's the goal of propaganda. That's the goal of a lot of these narratives. They want you to not operate on a normal thought process. They want you to operate on a programmed thought process. That's why I did those videos about what? Operant conditioning with positive and negative reinforcement. Classical conditioning with positive and negative reinforcement. You see this stuff happen in the media all day, every day. Am I wrong or am I right? What's good, Rain King? Good to see you, bro. So we have to pay attention to that. When we watch TV, when we get any kind of stimuli that's not originating from normal things that we engage in and immerse ourselves in under a normal circumstance, what we have to do is we have to look at it through a psychological lens, because you have to understand that we're constantly bombarded. We're constantly bombarded with a psychological warfare, with psychological weaponry. If you guys remember from my last live stream, the United States undertook experiments called MK Ultra in the 1950s. They illegally did experiments on the population, on the public in the United States and Canada, to do mind warfare on us, to experiment with propaganda, to make sure that we would be able to be easily controlled and conditioned. And in my opinion, a lot of those experiments have been successful. That's one of the reasons why. You may not agree with everything that Kwame Brown says, but a lot of what he says is accurate. And it's accurate because of what he's describing. You don't have to necessarily like a person. You don't necessarily have to agree with a person to say aspects of this data that this person is talking about, in my opinion, is 100% spot on. You know what I'm saying? Media engagement solutions. What's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. So we have to be aware of that. Now, what I'm going to do is, there's a long New York Times article. We're going to go through that entire article. All right. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to listen to Stack 5. All right. And what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to pay attention to what he's saying. I want you guys to type into the comments as you listen to what he's saying. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Does it make sense or does it not make sense? Because that's one of the things that we have to do. We have to assess these situations. So here is the video. All right. And shouts out to Court Hustle. As you guys can see, I smashed the like button on this video and I subscribe, because a subscription is free. And I'd encourage you guys to do the same thing to my video. All right. Court Hustle does these short clips, which, you know, the people who do these short clips are a wonderful and invaluable service, especially to us YouTubers, because we don't have to chop up videos and different things like that. These kind of people make it very easy for us to get the small pieces of data that we need to be able to make our point if we're doing a review or a reaction. So shouts out to Court Hustle and all of these people who make these small clips. These are a vital piece of commentary, in my opinion. And a lot of people do not really get the recognition and they don't get the credit for it that they should. So, you know, anytime I see a YouTuber that does that kind of thing, you know, I always try to support them and smash the like button and, you know, subscribe to the channel. And, you know, if I'm using one of their videos, give them a shout out. Now, I used Court Hustle's video, I think in 2 of my last videos, and I couldn't think of the name while I was recording the video, and I was just too lazy to, you know, say thanks Court Hustle for this video. So I left a message, you know what I'm saying? I left a comment on the page and told him, thank you. I appreciate the clips and the things that you do. You know what I'm saying? Next time I do a video, if I use some of your content, I'm going to for sure shout you out and try to get some of my people to go over there and support it. So I'm going to leave a link to this video in the comments when the live stream is done after I do the final edits on the live stream. So make sure y'all support that. All right. So let's listen to Stack 5 and see what this idiot says. All right. And let me know in the comments if you guys can or can't hear. All right. Because sometimes I forget to push the share audio button when I do the screen share.
So y'all can think on while y'all going to bed. Truth sound like hate the people who hate the truth. Ask yourself, why they didn't offer her the job initially? Why they didn't offer Maria the job initially? Before they even gave it to Rachel, why they didn't offer it to her then? They only did that because they didn't want to look like racists during the Black Lives Matter and the movement was going on when George Floyd happened.
Now, don't you find this interesting? We're going to go back and listen to this again. Automatically off the rip, in my opinion, he starts this off completely out of bounds. He's completely out of bounds. Now, let me know, you guys, if you guys can hear. Hey, what's up, Sylvia Sue? How you doing? Good to see you. Let me know if you guys are able to hear. You guys can hear it? Okay, cool. Is there any warning signs that you get from this off the rip? Is there anything that strikes you as odd about what he's saying? And why is he continuously repeating the same message? Like, why is he saying the same thing? Does it make any sense? Like, he did a couple of live streams on Instagram about this exact same topic. So what he's doing, for one, is he's using a tactic of repetition. Repetition is one of the ways that's used to program people. When you hear something or see something repeatedly, it begins to stick. That's one of the reasons why repetition is a good exercise to use if you're trying to memorize things. It's one of the reasons why, as a kid, your parents will give you flashcards and different things like that, because that helps you memorize things. So what we have here is Stack 5. I think he did like 3 or 4 live streams, and he may have done more since this one, where he's saying the same thing. He's now blaming the George Floyd situation for why ESPN gave Maria Taylor that job. How are you going to be an advocate for George Floyd and the things that, you know, the events surrounding George Floyd, what they represent, but then you're going to turn around and use those things to blame ESPN for a decision that they made? And the bottom line is that ESPN has been very messy. They've been very messy for a long time. They've been very messy even before George Floyd. Just hiring Stephen A. Jackson is messy. But now all of a sudden, when Rachael Nichols is under fire, now we have the advocacy for how, quote, this is all ESPN's fault. It's been ESPN's fault. The reason why Kwame Brown is popping the way that he's popping is because one of ESPN's employees, Stephen A. Smith, going at him. And then you guys using the credentials that Stephen A. Smith did with the dragging for all those years to continue to go after him, even after he retired. You know what I mean? So how do you take a situation and then weaponize that situation? This is a situation that he's a part of. He's allegedly an activist. He's allegedly, quote, in support of Black Lives Matter. But then now you want to turn around and you're actually flipping on those causes that you allegedly represent and taking up for Rachael Nichols. Now, you got to ask yourself a question. All right. And this is unrelated to Stack 5. Where are those Black Lives Matter members to come in and check Stack 5? Don't you think that some of those high-ranking Black Lives Matter people should be like, hey, Stack, what are you doing? Why are you blaming us? Why are you blaming the George Floyd situation for what happened with Rachael Nichols? I keep wanting to call her Rachel Dolezal. But has anybody seen that? Has Black Lives Matter or anybody involved with the George Floyd situation, Benjamin Crump, any of those people, the Democratic Party, anybody, have any of them come out and checked Stack about his treachery to the Black Lives Matter movement and this alleged activism that he takes a part in? So you got to ask yourself, what is the extent of this activism? Where's his priorities at when it comes to this, quote, activism? He's ready to throw his whole activism under the bus for a paycheck. So you don't think that this message that he's giving off was strategically constructed? It's strategically constructed in a way where he protects ESPN's asset, who is Rachael Nichols, while acting as if he has a problem with a corporate entity, that the corporate entity has a problem with interpreting from the larger society. Oh, well, you know, because of all of these issues, because of diversity, because of George Floyd, because of Black Lives Matter, this is why Rachael Nichols is going through all of these issues. And ESPN is wrong for that. ESPN is wrong for that. So where's Black Lives Matter? Where are any of these political activism groups to come in and check Stack? Because by this logic, Stack should be checked for this. Someone from Black Lives Matter, right, should come in and correct him if they all weren't working together. But interestingly, Black Lives Matter is silent on this. And you literally got Stack 5 basically blaming them and the George Floyd situation for what's going on with Rachael. I need you guys in the comments to explain to me how this works. And I got to agree. Mind control. That's exactly how it works. These people are under the influence. And that, it doesn't necessarily mean, you know, hypnosis, you know. Everybody knows that there's a large YouTuber that has a little, I think they call it the moving sticks in the background. And as he's taking phone calls, the lights are flashing and, you know what I'm saying, the sticks is doing all of this. You know what I mean? I got my little hypnosis thing back there too, but, you know, I ain't got 1 million followers. Mine ain't really working right. So it's just sitting there. It ain't making no movement. It's not hypnotizing anybody. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, when it comes to mind control, is it always hypnosis? Is it always some kind of MK Ultra? Or is there other ways to control mind control? Like with damning information or with pay? Well, listen, if you don't say this, I'm going to have to pull support. You know the stance we're expecting you to take on it. You don't think any of those kind of phone calls came out? Yeah, that's just like Beyonce. Beyonce always says, where they at? Where they at? That's my question. Where they at? Where they at? Black Lives Matter is kind of brilliant to me. If you think about it, you know, I mean, look at how much money the people who got into Black Lives Matter made and retired comfortably with nice, you know, wooden picket fences around their houses. So, I mean, you know, what do you say when somebody's making that kind of money? You know what I mean? What can we say? What we can say is they made out. You know what I mean? This is a test name 1234. What's up? Good to see you. Greetings. My man Ghost, what's going on, bro? It's almost like it's all about keeping a facade and dealing with only specific issues that don't cause too much controversy. What do you guys think about Ghost's comment? I think that his comment is on point. And I think that that's exactly it. I'd like to modify that comment and say what they like to control the controversy. They need there to be a little bit of controversy. They need there to be a little bit of tension, but as long as it's within controllable levels. We're going to create a duality. We're going to create a right. We're going to create a left. And we're going to run it like a script. And as long as that script doesn't get out of control, as long as we control the narrative, everything goes as planned. This is why it's important. I usually do, if there's anybody in here that is not accustomed to or, you know, familiar with my live streams or familiar with my videos or content, if you're new, type it in the comments if you're new. We're not going to put you on the spot because we got some veterans in here, clearly. But if you're new, I'm curious. The reason why I do stories like this is because I like to show how some of the things that I talk about, when I talk about abstract concepts, is how I'm not just making this stuff up. This stuff is literally right in front of our eyes. But because we don't know it, because we don't see it, because everybody don't have a PhD in psychology, we only identify it as a normal message when actually most of these messages are conditioning. Some like being controlled. It's a lazy way of life. This is absolutely true. And if I recall, my man Ghost actually said that. My man Ghost actually said that in one of my past live streams. I totally agree with that. And then there's the whole thing of some people actually don't know that they're controlled and they believe that they're actually independent. They believe that they're independent and that they're actually in control because they don't understand what control is. They don't understand true control. I think where we're at in society is now people are waking up and they're trying to figure out, well, wait a minute. I want to do a accounting. I want to do a recall. When it comes to my life, when it comes to the messages that I hear, when it comes to the thoughts that I generate, when it comes to the things that I stand behind, believe in, and love, what kind of control do I have over those things? Am I actually in control or am I being controlled? It may sound like I'm saying whatever I want to right now, but I'm being controlled. I'm on YouTube. I'd like this video to be monetized. I don't know if it will be. I have to be in control because there's community guidelines. Those community guidelines control what I'm able to say. We all have an element of control that we're under. Independence is when you've completely eliminated all of those elements of control. We'll never 100% be independent because there's some elements of control that we can't negotiate with. We can't negotiate with the laws of physics right now. We can't negotiate with the human chronology and timeline of life and death as of right now. Currently, those things are outside of negotiable realms for human beings. However, the closer you get, see, there should be what's called a control ratio, and that control ratio should be 1. 1 would be total control. It's when the element of control, which will be the numerator, is divided by the element of rules or the element of laws. And when you're able to dictate beyond or above the laws, you're in control. So 1 or greater would be a positive control element. Most of us currently operate at about a 0.5% control element. Because if you think about things that we can get beyond and levels that we operate at, we have a imaginary barrier of things that we can't get beyond, which restrict us, aka a glass ceiling. Yeah, like our demo bots. Yeah, big facts. Many organizations, not only BLM, have a need for a context to exist. It benefits these organizations, unions, charities, even the government, to have a certain level of unrest. Exactly. And what do we call that certain level of unrest, Lucas? What do we call that? When we talked about that in the last live stream, we called that what? The Hegelian dialectic. The right, the left, the male, the female, the black, the white, the good, the bad. It's one of the reasons why I don't believe in evil. It's one of the reasons why I don't believe in good. What I do believe is I believe in the Hegelian dialectic. And what I like to see is the motive behind the action before I place judgment on it. Well, what's the end result on it? What's the terminal result of this? Where is this going? Why do you want me to believe this? Why do you want me doing this? Why do you want me eating this? Why do you want me saying this? Why do you want me spending my money on this? Why do you want me to allow the government to give me this chemical or this biological agent? What's the end goal? I think there's ethical principles that actually examine those kind of things. I think they may be called like totality, something like that. What's the cumulative goal? What's the cumulative purpose? What's the end result? That's the question. What's the end result of what Stack 5 is doing? In my opinion, the end result of what Stack 5 is doing is to maintain his job. His public image, I don't know if he's aware. See, these kind of people, they don't think for themselves. I don't know if Stack 5 is even aware that his public image and his credibility is totally tarnished. It's gone. He has irreversibly damaged himself. He'd have to do something extenuating or something, completely remarkable in order for people to even begin to explore any kind of aspect of credibility with him. Do you guys agree with me or do you disagree? In my opinion, he's gone. It's done. This is why anytime I see any content like this or I'm in a live stream, I always hashtag hang up Stack 5, hang the phone up. Stop doing this. You're only damaging yourself more. He's under so much control that he thinks that by damaging himself more, he's actually going to be looking favorable in the eyes of the people that give him his paycheck. But if you're damaging yourself while taking up for somebody else, don't you think that those people observe your damage? As they're observing your damage, you're cannibalizing yourself, damaging yourself. If you're doing that, then you're making yourself worth less for them. When Professor Black Truth says stuff like the system of illegitimacy or white supremacy always breaks its tools, this is how they break the tool. You're breaking yourself, and once you've broken yourself beyond the point of no return, then guess what? You're gone. There's no more need for you. Look at what you've done to your public image. What are you going to do? How are you going to be an asset? How are you going to be an asset for any podcast? How are you going to be an asset for ESPN? Nobody believes you. You're not credible anymore. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say unless it's to make content criticizing you. You're done. You did this to yourself. And they encouraged it. And the reason why they encouraged it is because they knew they had the carrot over your head to make you back them regardless of how bad it made you look. And people fall for this nonsense every day. This is why it's so important for us to start building our own platforms. If we had our own platform, regardless of how you feel Steven Jackson or Matt Barnes' cognition is, they wouldn't have to do this unless it was somebody that was corrupt who happened to own it. They wouldn't have to do this. They'd just be able to say their honest opinions, do what they have to do, and get a paycheck. But there's always other motives. You don't think that the amount of money that these people get paid is also based on how loyal they are to the paycheck? Well, listen, I'll give you a extra, $200,000 or $300,000, or I'll give you vacations on demand, or you'll never have to pay for a car again if you never speak ill of us. You always need to take this stance on the issue. You always need to take that stance on the issue. You don't think that that goes into those contracts? You don't think that goes into those negotiations? That's my question. Let me know what you guys think. Social media seems to be about control, like Zuck a buck. Yeah, big facts. That's why Facebook has been under scrutiny for years about violating antitrust legislation. And guess what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they've been violating antitrust legislation. The government uses them as an asset. Where did the government get election data? Where did the government get any data from about any of these alleged plots that are supposedly taking place with, politicians being kidnapped and harmed? They get it all from Facebook. I hate it when I click on clickbait. That's hilarious. Yeah, he is done. Stack 5 is done. Do you guys agree with me? Like it's over for him. Society subconsciously pressures people into taking part in social media and similar platforms. It makes it easier to expose and ostracize you if you step out of line with the hive mind. Absolutely. So basically, Lucas, what you're saying is that cancel culture was around before cancel culture. I'd have to agree. This is nothing new. Cancel culture has been around. It's just the name of it has just changed. It used to be called blackmail. I'm going to shut you up with this. I know about your sealed record. You're going to say what we need you to say, or else we have a huge legal team. I don't know when, but the sealed record will be released. It might end up in the hands of New York Times. See how all of these things work together? Guess what? Rachael Nichols' husband is a media mogul. If you watch my live stream, or if you watch my podcast that I recorded yesterday, Matt Barnes has domestic violence on his record. Who knows what else he has? Things could be sealed. Who knows what Matt Stack 5 has? Things could be sealed. Who knows? But what I do know is, if you don't talk the way that you're supposed to talk and you're getting a paycheck with my signature on it, something with a judge's signature may come out. I might have to make a phone call to one of my friends at the New York Times. Just like how Rachel's microphone was on and she didn't know it was on. I don't know if you're aware, but there's a couple times when your microphone was on and you didn't know about it. But I do. And if you don't say the things that we need you to say, to make the organization look good, everybody will know what you said. See how that works? While we're sitting here in the public, we're completely removed from any of this. And we think, oh, wow, this stuff is just now coming out. I can't believe it. This doesn't make any sense. I never thought this person was like this. I never knew. Cancel culture has been around since the dawn of humanity. It was called exile. The word ostracized comes from Greek word used for the plaque that contained the names of those banned in the cities. Facts. That is facts. So what it seems like is that Steven Jackson, Stack 5, and Matt Barnes, and all of these people, all of these athletes are in the process of slowly canceling themselves. And they're canceling themselves by nonsensical things that they say. They're canceling themselves by ways that they portray themselves to the public. They're canceling themselves by nonsensical things that they do. And what's funny is that no one is saying that they're victims of cancel culture. I got a question for everybody that's in here. Would you say that Stack 5 is basically canceled? Would you say that Charlemagne the God is basically canceled? Would you say that Matt Barnes is basically canceled? Would you say that Stephen A. Smith is basically canceled? My man Gary is in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. So that's my question. Would you, all of the people that I just named, would you guys say that these people are canceled? Are they? I don't look at any of these people the same. I've never been a fan of Charlemagne, but all of my suspicions have now been validated. But for people that did look at him as casual viewing consumption, would you say, you know, brother might be kind of canceled? I'm not really messing with him all like that anymore. Stack 5, man, he's kind of canceled. I'm not really messing with him anymore. Matt Barnes, you know, Stephen A. Smith, I'm not really messing with him. There's a level of cancellation, however. What's being done now is to shield Rachael Nichols from that cancellation when she's actually a part of that, quote, cancel culture. Because despite the fact that we all know that cancel culture has anti-Black undertones, cancel culture, like anything that has anti-Black undertones, can be a weapon against anybody who's not favorable in the system of illegitimacy. So let's listen to some more of what Stack 5 says.
That was something right quick and say I could think on while y'all going to bed. Truth sound like hate the people who hate the truth. Ask yourself, why they didn't offer her the job initially? Why they didn't offer Maria the job initially? Before they even gave it to Rachel, why they didn't offer it to her then? They only did that because they didn't want to look like racists during the Black Lives Matter and the movement was going on when George Floyd happened.
So we're going to break that down. Do you guys agree with what he just said, or do you disagree? I'm not a fan of any of those people, to be honest. Yeah, big facts. That's why I called Vlad the police. I feel that dude your business. Yeah, you talking about Vlad, you talking about DJ Vlad? Yeah, I feel the same way. On my other channel, I did a video about Vlad. I've done a couple videos about Vlad, actually. And, you know, Kevin Samuels just recently did that interview with Vlad. And there's a lot of people that feel the way that they feel about Kevin Samuels. And I get it. It is what it is. However, in my opinion, I said, it's not really a good idea, man. I don't think that anybody should entangle themselves with Vlad. Look at all of the record of legal issues that people have after they deal with Vlad. And Vlad just doesn't care. He unapologetically doesn't care. Unapologetically doesn't care about the culture. Unapologetically is literally anti-Black to everybody that goes on his show right in their face. And people just keep going to him. They just keep going to him. I don't get it. I don't understand. Why do people need Vlad's validation? You know what I mean? I mean, Vlad puts out these 5-minute videos and Kevin Samuels does hour-long live streams. And we all know usually that, you know, longer videos don't get as much view or as much push on the YouTube algorithm. And I mean, Kevin Samuels hour-long live streams get 300,000 and 400,000 viewers. Vlad's 5-minute videos, they only get that many views if it's something controversial or if it's Kevin Samuels. Sometimes people have a perceived need, you know what I mean? And they don't necessarily need that. But again, one of these perceived needs is that we have to have a perceived validation from the greater society. We're the people that say we need to look at facts and data, but then when it's our turn to actually look at facts and data and analytics, we don't. We just use the same legitimization that we complain about. I need to do this to make myself valid. You don't need to do that to make yourself valid. I mean, you have a YouTube studio that shows your analytics. Your analytics are data and numbers that should validate you. So why do you need to do that? You know what I mean? It's the mentality. It's the conditioning, in my opinion. Operant conditioning, positive reinforcement. This shows that I'll work with other people. I don't think that anybody should not work with other people. I think that, you know, we all live in society together, and that if people are willing to, you know, be workable, then I don't see any problem with working with people. But what Stack 5 is doing, that's not working for people. That's being a slave. What Matt Barnes is doing, that's not working for someone. That's being a slave. You're still being dictated to. So in that situation where we have a lot of those undertones that we have to deal with, it's not necessarily beneficial for us to keep giving positive reinforcement to a system that says that we have to utilize it to seek validation. Me personally, I don't care. If people say, oh, you know, he never works with this person, he never works with this kind of people, I don't care if you say that or not. I work with who I want to work with. And that's just it. And I'll produce good work, and you'll either like it or you won't. I don't need to go on, you know, a No Jumper podcast or anything like that to, I'm validated now because I've been all around YouTube. No, you were already validated. Look at your analytics. You're booming. You're hopping. Things are popping off and going right for you. I understand the marketing and the business, and, you know, that sounds nice, and, you know, that's good. But at the same time, who created those standards? These are people who always network with themselves while cutting other people out. So you need to show that you can build something while people are cut out, and then people will come to you. You know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah, big facts, bro. That's how I feel about that. You know what I mean? And in my opinion, like that's not being racist. That's being independent. These are literally people that say pull yourself up by the bootstraps. All right, well, when we pull ourselves by the bootstraps, or when we actually try to do something and build so that we have something that we can say, look, this is ours, even though we have like pretty much everything that we can say is ours, but we're not banking off of it the way that we should. But when we do that, oh, this is discrimination. It's supposed to be everybody involved. Oh, that's interesting. We have a lot of circumstances that everybody doesn't have. For one, we have a very scattered and unorganized cultural identity. Everybody else doesn't have that. That's why it's easier for everybody else to stick together. Well, I don't understand why black people kill each other so much. Yeah, you do. You do understand why we kill each other for so much. For one, if there's an actual culture that you attach yourself to, if there's something that you care about, something that you hold valuable, a minimum set of expectations, then you kind of look at each person as having a connection. So you would automatically have a bit more respect for that person, because you'd say, you know what, this person, you know, we share a lot in common, and I want to see this person do well because I know this person wants to see me do well. We don't have that because of circumstances here in the United States, because of things like slavery. Now, has there been time where we could build that? Yeah, that's one of the things we need to start doing. We need to start building that. But we're scattered. You got people like Jason Whitlock who over here, you know, Maria Taylor's fragility was not even in question. But he's saying Maria Taylor's not as tough as Rachael Nichols. Where did that even come from? When was that even part of the argument? How does that work? Why are we talking about how tough either of these women are? Again, using a black person to take control of the narrative. Well, you listen, Rachel, she said some things that are kind of embarrassing. What we're going to need you to do is we're going to need you to make Maria the bad guy in this situation. It's kind of like if, one of us gets beat up or killed by the police. We're going to need you to make them the bad guy in the situation. They tell him stuff they wouldn't tell you, or they tell him stuff you wouldn't feel you or know. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Jazzy, and you're right. Absolutely. Vlad isn't a psychologist. Vlad does not have a, one of those consent things that lawyers have. What is that called? A non-disclosure agreement? I don't understand why people who go on Vlad don't hand him a non-disclosure agreement and say, listen, if any part of our conversation falls into these realms, if any of these conversations falls into anything that can be traced back to this, I'm going to sue you for it. I'm going to sue you blind. I'm going to sue you for your YouTube channel. I'm going to sue you for your website. I'm going to sue you for every asset that you own. If any part of our conversation that I don't authorize in this non-disclosure agreement is put out. Now, if I was talking to one of those people that, like Casanova or somebody like that, they'd be like, I'm not about to tell you my idea because you're going to steal it. But you would tell Vlad all of your intricate and visceral details about crimes or, alleged scandals and different things that you've done. And knowing that he doesn't care one bit if they trace that back to you. How does that work? I'm not going to snitch on you. I'm not a snitch. Nobody associated with me has ever done time or been put on a federal trial. But because of skin color legitimization and trickle-down effects from the dominant society, you as a black person is looking at me like I'm crazy, while literally, just you have no cultural link, and it'll just tell, somebody else all your business just off the rip. I'm not saying that I should get a free shot because I'm black. What I'm saying is that where's the cultural unity, where there's a minimum set of understanding that, listen, what I want to see is I want to see you successful. So I'm not going to do anything to try to make you unsuccessful. Where is that? I'm not going to harm you. I'm not going to make you look bad in the public eye. I'm going to try to boost you up and make you look as good as possible. What I find the most interesting about this whole Rachael Nichols thing is that the biggest voices to try to tear down Maria Taylor, the voices are, a bunch of former athletes, Jason Whitlock, and her husband hasn't said anything. I mean, the husband is supposed to be her protector and provider. She married a billionaire Hollywood mogul. Where's he? He's got free labor. He's got these bucks running around in a tizzy on the plantation taking care of things. So why's he got to do anything? See how that works? There's a reason why PR departments make so much money today. People don't know when to stop talking. Social media instigates the mentality of shout, don't think. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. It's mind control. Yeah, that's big facts. And the mind control comes from the money. The mind control comes from the glass ceiling that's already implanted into our brain. The mind control comes from everywhere. How do you break that mind control? What Steven Jackson is doing is he's operating and articulating on an autonomic level. This is knee-jerk reaction. This is what my contract said do. This is what I got to do. You remember that clip that came out with Stephen A. Smith where he said, the first thing I wake up and do is think about ways to make money for my boss and then see if he'll break me off some. What? That's what you do? Even animals don't go around and try to get prey for other animals unless it's a female animal getting prey for her cubs or for her kids, or a mother bird getting a worm for her nest. In any other case other than that, self-sustenance is always the initial thought process. Why is that different with people like this? Why doesn't society call that out? Society cares so much, right? We just want everybody to be okay. Okay, you want everybody to be okay. You want everybody to be independent. But when you see people being dependent, you don't call it out. When that dependence benefits the greater society, they're quiet about it. Clearly, Stack 5 is dependent on that paycheck. You think this greater society is going to call that out? Well, we just want you guys to pull it up by the bootstraps and be better. Okay, this isn't good. Well, racism doesn't exist because Stack 5 is making millions of dollars. No. Just like how there's a multi-tier society, how there's a multi-class system society, you don't think that there's different forms and classes of racism? I mean, as delusional as Rachael Nichols is, she thought that she was, dealing with racism. Now, over diversity is racism. Yeah. Says the person that benefits the most from the diversity efforts. We know that diversity that's set up to help marginalized groups is birthed out of racism. That's why the demographic that you're a part of benefits the most from it while complaining the most about it. There was an article from Vox that came out, and in that article, it talked about this very thing. It talked about who benefits the most from the diversity initiatives. And that same demographic that benefits the most from it, which is Rachael Nichols' demographic, they complain the most about it. And this is what you see. This is literally the behavior that they were talking about in that article. Everything was fine with diversity. She even said it. She even quoted it. I know about this coming from being a female. No, you don't. You know the benefits that you've gotten from being a part of the greater society, as well as being written into a manufactured minority and placed in so that you have even better competitive advantage with people who are actually diverse. Why doesn't Stack 5 say anything about that? He bringing up George Floyd. He bringing up Trump. He's bringing up Black Lives Matter. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
It's just that simple. If they wanted her to have a job, they would have offered it to her initially, right? But then they backstab her and release an article saying Maria said she wants Stephen A. money, that she don't want the $5 million. She ain't never said that. You got to know when they making you.
How do you know that she never said that? Because until just a couple of days ago, nobody knew that she said what she said that was released. So how do you know that she didn't say that? Why are you just, I'm just going to take her side. I'm just going to take up for her. I'm about to take up for this woman. This woman is rich. She has a rich husband. You better let that rich husband take up for you. Better let that lawyer that husband is either related to or paying take up for you. She don't need you to hood-splain her way out of this issue. So why are you doing it? My man Delmo, what's good? Did they get paid? Easy, watch. No doubt. My man Delmo is in the house. What's good with you, brother? Good to see you, man.
They show pony. They just didn't want to look like racists. That's why they gave her that job.
They just don't want to look like racists. That's why they gave her that job. What's his agenda? As of right now, his agenda is clearly to be the catch-all, the bulletproof vest, the human body armor for Rachael Nichols. Now, let's actually back this up because we're going to dive into this.
They just didn't want to look like racists. That's why they gave her that job.
When is the last time that you heard ESPN allow commentators to be overly critical of white athletes? Have you guys ever heard that? Has Stephen A. Smith ever went in on white athletes? Has that ever happened? Have you guys ever heard that? Because I haven't. And if he has it been at the same frequency that he does with black athletes? This is how they get out of the racism. They can always find a sellout. They can always find a bootlick where they can write the racist script for the things that they actually want to say and put a black face on it and put that person right in front of the TV, right in front of the news for you. There's a difference between actual criticism and over criticism for a paycheck. What was done to Kwame Brown was over criticism for a paycheck. So my question is, has ESPN ever allowed a white athlete to be dragged to the level that Kwame Brown was? And if they have, what's the frequency that they allowed that to happen versus what he says about other athletes? That's my question. I feel like there's a small disconnect with reality with these people. The small amount of wealth, fame, or influence they get make them create an internal narrative, a distorted reality. Absolutely. Absolutely, Lucas. You're absolutely right. And then what they do with that distorted internal reality is push that reality onto us. This is what you're witnessing right now. What Lucas just said is literally what we're witnessing Stack 5 do. This is it. This is what he's doing. I'm going to keep this comment up here. Pay attention. Type in the comments if you guys agree or disagree.
Not saying she don't deserve it, but they only did. If they wanted her to have a job, they would have gave it to her initially without giving it to Rachel and taking it from Rachel. Y'all don't want them facts, huh? Good night, y'all.
So those are facts because you say so. Where is any evidence that validates that? Where is any evidence that validates what was just said as fact? Yeah. Jimmy Butler has entered the chat. Jimmy Butler? What's up, Mayan King? How does he know? Exactly. Because until any of these leaked phone calls came out, I didn't know that Rachael Nichols had said any of this. So how do you know what went on? That's the question. And the thing is that what Stack 5 doesn't realize is that we're now living in a world. We're now living in a world where people are questioning things. For so long, people were afraid to question things. For so long, people didn't have the knowledge and the tools. But with information traveling as fast as it is and information being so accurate and we're able to dissect it, now people are actually asking these questions. Stephen Jackson is vicariously trying to have sexual access to female members of the system of illegitimacy. Buck breaking. Yeah. I totally agree. And my thing is, y'all know how I feel about that. I don't have a problem with interracial dating. Now, I know some people do and some people don't. Me personally, I don't care. But if you're going about it in these kind of ways, that's ridiculous. If you're going to be with a woman, you know what I'm saying? And that woman is not your culture. If you are showing her signs that you hate yourself and you're not comfortable with your culture, do you think that appeals to her? That doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? I don't understand why people do that. Why do you behave that way? That's that kind of behavior, like the Officer Tatum's or like the Candace Owens. That's the kind of behavior that gives people that interracially date just automatic bad name. You don't see that with anybody else. When white people date Asians, when Asians date white people, when Latinos date Asians, it only happens for whatever reason when black people do it. What's up, Fire? What's good, bro? I don't understand why. And that's one of the reasons why people have such an issue with it. If it comes from a true place of genuine love and care, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't have a problem with a lot of these women. You know, they're now on this whole thing about they're going to, date white women, and all these black men on this thing about they're going to just specifically go after every other race of women except for black. It's weird to me. What you need to do is you need to go after a woman that actually genuinely cares about you. And a woman that actually genuinely cares about you, if she sees you like, you're hating yourself or you're hating other people of your culture, she should look at you suspect. What is wrong with you? If you don't even love yourself, how the hell are you going to love me? So a lot of these talking points and a lot of these things that people say, like, I don't get it. I don't understand. That doesn't make sense to me. That's toxic. That's where you get that whole situation of you think you're escaping a situation by going to somebody else from another culture because of your own psyche or because of, you know, issues that you don't want to deal with yourself. But the thing is that you're not escaping those issues by going elsewhere. You're running from your internal issues. And if you continue to have your internal issues, no matter where you go, those internal issues are going to go with you. You're going to fail anywhere until you fix yourself. Stack 5 is going to fail anywhere until he fixes himself. And if you truly care about another person, regardless of who that person is, that's your significant other, you should present the best to that person. And you can't be at your best if you hate yourself. So you're automatically doing them a disservice. It's one of the reasons why so many relationships fail. People present, and you're supposed to present your best self, and people present their worst self. Be who you are. Take pride in who you are. Care about who you are. You think that is ever going to come off attractive to somebody else, especially to somebody else? If you hate yourself, to me, that automatically looks like a level of self-hatred and low self-confidence to me. If I encounter, you know, like a white liberal or one of these white people who just, I hate white people and blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute. You are white though. Like you hate yourself. I mean, I'm your friend. So are you saying that I'm not correct for being your friend because I see things in you that I think are, you know, friendship worthy? It doesn't make any sense to me. The same thing. Don't you think that people see that in us when we do that kind of stuff? Oh, you know, I'm going to make fun of this person, team light skin, team dark skin, and weave and nails. Damn, that's how you talk about other people who are like you, regardless if it's a male or female. That's how you talk about people. I got to look at you suspect because we ain't even the same. And you're talking about people who are similar to you like that. How you going to talk about me? That's one of the reasons why. That whole thing is one of the reasons why, like Professor Black Truth says, quote, white supremacy always breaks its own tools. Your own self-hatred will cannibalize on you. And once you've cannibalized yourself to the point of debilitation, you're not worth anything to anybody. And if your only purpose in life was being a tool to the system of illegitimacy, you've destroyed yourself to the point where you have no more usefulness. You're eating yourself. You're eating the meat off of your own bones while trying to serve that. And then guess what? Your usefulness is over. It's done. You're retired early. The sooner that people are able to come to that truth, and the sooner that people are able to see that, the sooner that people are able to realize that, then maybe people will be able to come and create a new paradigm where, you know, things make a little bit more sense. They're able to present themselves with a little bit more confidence, with a little bit more couth, and actually stand behind things that they believe. Do you actually think that Stack 5 believed the words that were coming out of his mouth? I mean, was it just me, or did he actually look confused the entire time that he was talking? He looked confused, like he was trying to memorize a script. Same thing with Matt Barnes. He's trying to memorize a script. How do you just sell out like that? How do you just not say what you feel? Is a paycheck really worth it? You don't have to submit to just having a paycheck. Build your own thing. Look at what Kwame Brown did. You know what I'm saying? He just decided to turn on his live button. What's stopping Matt Barnes and Kwame or in Stack 5 from doing that? Well, what's stopping them from doing that now is the only reason why anybody will want to hear what they have to say is so that they can make troll videos about it. They've canceled themselves. Their usefulness, the sand is running out of the top of the hourglass, and they'll be broken because they're of no more use. You guys agree or disagree? This is the problem. This is why this stuff is so dangerous. So what I wanted to do next was I want to go through this New York Times article, because there's actually a lot of interesting stuff in this New York Times article that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. All right. I don't think a lot of people are aware of what's actually in this New York Times article. So everybody that's in here, I appreciate you all being in here. If you could help your boy out, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers. All right. We really appreciate that. That helps. All right. So this is the article that came out. And it said, and this article came out on July 6th. All right. Now, I have a question for everybody that's in here. Did you know that these were ongoing issues at ESPN? Was anybody aware of that? Did you guys know that these issues had been going on for a very long time at ESPN and just nobody said anything about it? Nobody came out with it. It was just kind of, just kind of swept under the rug. This isn't something that developed overnight. And honestly, from reading this, what I think is even if this leaked phone call didn't come out, this would have came out in some way, shape, or form. This would have definitely come out in some way, shape, or form. Okay. So now here it says disparaging video prompts explosive fallout within ESPN. In comments still rippling through the network, the reporter Rachael Nichols, who is white, and see, this is what the media does. We all know that Rachael Nichols is white. We all know that Maria Taylor is black. We know all of this. But in order to drive it home, to continue the narrative of the duality and continue the Hegelian dialectic, we have to create sides. And if you're on sides, then there's always a good guy and there's always a bad guy. If you're an idiot and you're an idiot white person, then automatically the white person is the good guy. And the black person is the bad guy. If you're a black person and you're an idiot black person, then automatically the good person is black and the bad person is white. What people need to look at is the situation and what's actually going on. The problem is that ESPN is a illegitimate business. ESPN plays on racism. ESPN has always been anti-black, and ESPN is overutilizing diversity to try to right its wrongs, and it's still not doing that properly, which is one of the reasons why this entire thing happened. Another thing that's the issue is because of longstanding privilege, Rachael Nichols just thinks that she can just say whatever she wants to say, and that she has the media, she has people in the population at large. Everybody had just come to her rescue and say, well, she's not racist. I mean, she didn't mean to say that. That's not what she meant. Anytime a black person does anything wrong, do we ever have an army of people explaining why we did something? If I'm defending myself against a police officer because they just decide to try to pull me out of the car when I asked them what's going on sitting in front of my house, and I got to defend myself and shoot somebody, does anybody say, well, he was using self-defense? Does that ever happen? No. What ends up happening is, oh yeah, when he was 16, he caught an assault charge. He has 7 illegitimate kids. What about the actual situation? That's like Jason Whitlock. What about the actual situation? The actual situation is the assessment of the leaked phone call. But now what Jason Whitlock is doing is we're going to put Maria Taylor on trial. How's Maria Taylor on trial? She has to justify why she was hired now? Did Rachael Nichols have to justify why she was hired over whatever man they could have hired for the NBA? How's that work? In corporate America, I expect this shenanigans, so not surprised by ESPN's revelation. Yeah, exactly, Delmo. Me either, bro. You 100% on point. Me either. Sports media in general always had this problem. Media as a whole, the whole internal infrastructure is tailored to appease the current trends, to spin anything, racism in this case, for their gain. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it is that trickles down. The ESPN is doing that, and you literally hear that exact same narrative that Lucas just said being played out in Rachael Nichols' talking points. I didn't get the job because I'm white. Really? Is that one thing in your life that you didn't get because you're white? I mean, what about your husband? He could probably pay you more than ESPN could. How about the fact that you're married to an individual that has more money than some small countries' GDPs? I don't think Maria Taylor is married to anybody who their income is as much as a small country. During slavery times, the female members of the system of illegitimacy would beat or even kill black female enslaved women because of jealousy. Yeah, that absolutely happened. Or if, they didn't mammy properly and feed the kids and all of that crazy stuff that was going on. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong thing. I'm sorry, y'all. I have to leave right now. I'll finish listening later. Dang, it's getting really good in here. Hey, it's all good, Sylvia Sue. Appreciate you coming in. My man MC Fact is in the house. No, wait, Jason Whitlock is favorite. Bang. Facts. MC Facts always come with the facts. Is that why that's your name? Is that why you chose that name? That's the facts, bro. Make sure you watch my video about the Jason Whitlock thing. Because as usual, here we come. And then again, this is what you see. That's the same. Jason Whitlock in Stack 5 talking about things totally unrelated to what's going on, and then they're wagging their fingers at black people. Jason Whitlock made a letter for black people. I'm writing a letter to black liberals. What? You're writing a letter to black liberals. Okay. What about all black people? Don't all of us matter? Because all of us aren't liberals. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the ways that you know that when people start talking that quote liberal stuff, it's a dog whistle. See, when white people say that in the media, they can't directly address it. I'm talking to you, black liberals. But they can get a black person in front of the screen, and then the black person can politically correctly address us as black. But these are the same people that have an issue with political correctness, but they've been using political correctness through getting a black pawn to voice their racism ever since the media was invented. All right, Sylvia Sue, I'll see you later. I mean, this has literally been happening ever since the media was invented. We'll go get this black person. We'll go get Candace Owens. She'll get these people in check. We'll go get Stack 5. He'll get these people in check. We'll go get Kamala Harris. She'll get these people in check. We'll go get Barack Obama. He'll get these people in check. You're not going to get us in check. You're not going to get us in check. You had us in check and you let it go. You know what I'm saying? Go blame John Brown and Abraham Lincoln, mainly Abraham Lincoln, because they took John Brown out. He was doing too much. But Abraham Lincoln made it official and put it on the paper. And then those 13 civil rights bills, those guys. I have black female friends who spill the beans and inform me how female members of the illegitimacy exclude a lot of microaggressions toward them at work. Yeah, that happens a lot. It happens a lot. And it also happens when there's black female members of the system of illegitimacy or black male members of the system of illegitimacy. Man, Whitlock is the king of boot lips. We're going to start calling him boot licks. We're going to start calling him leather breath. Oh, yeah. Lincoln absolutely hated black folks. Absolutely. He was a racist, didn't believe that black people were the same as white people. However, he is the one that signed the paper. That's all I'm saying. He definitely wasn't no abolitionist. He definitely wasn't no hero. He definitely ain't no savior. He started what he thought was the first step of keeping us under autonomous control. Still under control. We need to be out of control. Control groups are only good for experiments. Isn't that funny? So now here it says in comments still rippling through the network, the reporter Rachael Nichols, who is white. So here we go. We're going to do this. We all know what color these women are, but the New York Times, they feel the need to just make sure that we know. Again, they want to reinforce this. What is this? Repetition. Operant conditioning. Classical conditioning with positive reinforcement. See how they do? The media. Leave it to the media. So now here it says, as the NBA playoffs started in May, the stars of ESPN's marquee basketball show, NBA Countdown, discussed whether they would refuse to appear on it. So you got to ask yourself right there, let's just stop. This is the first paragraph of this article. What do they mean by this? As the NBA playoffs started in May, the stars of ESPN's marquee basketball show, NBA Countdown, discussed whether they would refuse to appear on it. So initially, right, they start this article without going into any background information. Now, I got a question for everybody that's in here. Do you guys know any background information on this? Why would the cast of NBA Countdown refuse to appear on it? So it looks like what was going on was that there was some kind of brewing conflict at ESPN already before this leaked phone call. Right. Lincoln said if he could, the nation intact with slavery, he'd do it. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, bro. Media from Greek medella means deceptive, cunning. Big facts. Facts. Yep. That's awesome that Delmo and Lucas put those words in there. You know what I'm saying? That we need that. Anytime you guys do that, I will always highlight it as long as I see it, because it's important to understand how those words actually interact with what's going on. Like if we knew the etymologies of these words, then maybe we would be able to be more privy to what the purposes of these gears of the system of illegitimacy are and what purpose that they serve and how we can be aware of it and be able to combat it. You know what I mean? So my question for you guys is, did you guys know that there was already a conflict brewing at ESPN? Did you guys know that? Were you aware of that? Because that's what it says right here in this article. It says they were objecting to a production edict from the executives that they believe was issued to benefit a sideline reporter and fellow star, Rachael Nichols. So there was already something going on with Rachael Nichols. But what I find interesting is that they leave it out of this article. What was going on with Rachael Nichols? Why don't we know? Why doesn't this article say? Because you got to ask yourself the question. Like, you know, this article knows what's up with her. So why they not saying nothing? Why they not saying anything? Despite comments she had made suggesting that the host of NBA Countdown, Maria Taylor, had gotten the job because she is black, Nichols is white. So again, we already established this up here, but we're saying it again. So you got to ask yourself the question, when dealing with this media, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to program a narrative? We already know this. We already said this once. They don't keep continuing to tell us that, you know, it was ESPN. They only keep continuing to tell us that these women are black and another one of them is white, to automatically create the narrative, to automatically brew the conflict. I didn't know there was conflict at ESPN. I used to think that Rachael was okay. Psh, man, listen. Man, listen. Simple. NY Times ain't saying anything because they're protecting Rachael Nichols. Bingo. Facts. Now you got to ask yourself the question, what are they protecting her from? And then you got to ask yourself the question, so wait a minute. Stack 5, Matt Barnes, Jason Whitlock, and the New York Times are all on the same accord. They're all on the same page. All of these people from all different political circles, all different walks of life, they're all on accord. They're all on one accord. Who's orchestrating this? Because they know that silence causes less ruckus than trying to explain yourself. People have a short memory. They forget things easily, be outraged, forget, and seek the next outrage. Did you guys agree or disagree with that comment? Man, I totally agree. Lucas is on point with the comments, just like Delmo, just like MC Fact. That's why, man, I'd be so happy, man, when my peoples come up in here, because y'all know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know exactly what time it is. So now here it says a pre-show call with Taylor and the other commentators, Jalen Rose, Adrian Wojnarowski, and Jay Williams, as well as NBA Countdown staff members, had turned acriminous. And Jimmy Petro, ESPN's president, had several phone conversations while at a family event to try to smooth things over. Now, let's actually look at this. Do you notice how nobody is talking about Jimmy Petro? This is ESPN's president. Now, I got a question. Hey, what's up, Siri Lynn? I got a question. Why is nobody talking about ESPN's president? If we go back, I'm going to pause this right here. All right, because we got a little bit of time. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pause this real quick. All right. I want to go here. I want to ask you guys some questions. All right. So hang with me real quick. All right. If you guys haven't smashed the like button to help your boy out, make sure that you do that real quick. All right. We're going to ask some questions here. Okay. We're going to run this back. This isn't very long. And again, for the people who are just now coming in here, this little 1 minute, 26 second clip is on Court Hustle. All right. So y'all can, go like that video and, hit, support that channel too. Let's listen. Blondie Lee 303. Hey, what up? All right. So, question for everybody. Who would it be that would be offering Maria that job initially? Who would it be that would be offering Maria that job initially?
Well, I'm gonna hit y'all with something right quick and so y'all can think on while y'all going to bed. Truth sound like hate the people who hate the truth. Ask yourself, why they didn't offer her the job initially? Why they didn't offer Maria the job initially?
All right, now I got a question. Doesn't it sound like he goes to say one thing and then he stops? It sounds like he starts to go one direction with what he's saying and then he stops. Why would he do that? That's my question. Why would he do that? See, you got to pay attention to a lot of the nonverbal signs.
Hit y'all with something right quick and so y'all can think on while y'all going to bed. Truth sound like hate the people who hate the truth. Ask yourself, why they didn't offer her the job?
See, it's like he censored himself. Why didn't offer her the job?
Ask yourself, why they didn't offer her the job initially?
Do you think he was about to slip? Do you think that he was about to slip and say the CEO's name? Is that why that happened? That's my question for you guys. What do you guys think? Do you think that he was about to slip and say that name? What do you think would have happened if he had said that name? That's my question. Because he's just being really vague. And you got to ask yourself the question, in the day and time where everybody is journalists, everybody is doing their own independent news, how are you going to make a mistake like that? You didn't say anybody's name. Jackson is doing double talk. He is singing the tune of his paymasters. Facts. Facts, Delmo. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Let's listen to it one more time.
Ask yourself, why they didn't offer her the job initially?
Doesn't it sound like he was trying to remember something? He's trying to, he had his thoughts together and then something may have slipped. That's what it sounds like to me. That's the vibe that I get from that. Don't forget, Jason Fatlock called Serena Williams fat. He came down on her hard. I mean, yeah, you know, like, what's the point? Why? Where? I can't even ask that question appropriately. Like, but we all know that Serena Williams is not fat. We know that. You know what I mean? Like, why would he say that? And who is he to call somebody? Has he looked in the mirror? I mean, listen, you know, like you got to ask yourself. And Serena Williams is married to a man who has massive amounts of resources. This dude owns a social media platform. I think he either owns it or is the CEO of it. She just recently had a baby by him. She's married. I mean, clearly, you know, he thinks she's worth it. What is it? What in comparison to the man that Serena Williams is with? Jesse Miller, what's good, bro? In comparison to the man that Serena Williams is with, what does Jason Fatlock have to offer? Do you have, you know, you can pass down Reddit to your kids? Do you have $1 million? The only thing that I could think of, you know, is that, you know, maybe that Jason Fatlock actually might possibly have better hygiene, because we all know that there was some hygienic issues with Serena Williams' husband. Self-admitted. This isn't me saying this. You know what I'm saying? This is what he said. You know, he said Serena taught him how to wash up properly. There's some connotations and issues there. However, being that Jason Whitlock has all of those hot dogs on the back of his neck, there might be some cracks and crevices that even with proper bathing technique, he might not be able to get the gunk out of. So, you know, the only way that we can compare these two gentlemen is on a hygienic level, and they may be about even. They actually Serena's husband may actually have a little bit of a leg up, because at least Serena, I'm gonna help you out with this. It's kind of funky up in here. When I was pregnant, I already got morning sickness and I'm throwing up all over the place, and now I'm dealing with your funky ass in the house. I'm about to make sure that you get this right so that I don't have all this extra nausea. So, you know, they fixed that relationship. You know what I'm saying? You fix things. It's a negotiation. You know what I mean? Haven't heard any more issues. You know what I'm saying? Haven't heard any more tweets. Hopefully that problem has been resolved with those two. You know what I'm saying? My grandson and White won't let me enjoy this broadcast. It's all good, man. It happens sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no big deal. You know how that go. One thing about kids, one thing about grandkids, anytime that's when you have kids, you have to understand that. When you have grandkids, you have to understand that. You have given it up. That's it. It's a wrap. You've sold your soul. It's done. Anytime you want to do anything that you enjoy, unless they're asleep or unless they're at a friend's house, it ain't happening. You're done. You have to catch it in bits and pieces. You got to get organized. You know what I'm saying? You got to manage that time and bookmark, and you know what I'm saying? You got to do all of that kind of stuff, because the kids, man, then it's not happening with them. Even if they're not in the house, something will happen. They'll call. They'll find a reason. It's one of them situations where you be in the middle of something really intricate, and next thing you know, you get a phone call. What's going on? Is there an emergency? No, I just wanted to tell you that I love you. You're making it really hard right now. Are you safe? Is anything on fire? Okay, goodbye. But gotta love the kids. You know what I'm saying? Her husband looks unsanitary, but my money is on Fatlock. I know he can't reach around to clean himself thoroughly. Do you think that during the pandemic, one of the biggest buyers of toilet paper was him, for, you know, flossing the back of his neck? He the only person that I know that got a 6-pack on his neck. It's just a 6-pack of Hillshire Farms. You know what I mean? YouTube, popcorn, and door locks. Right. Oh, man, that's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. What is wrong with these people, man? They're insane. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. My man Ro is in the house. What's good, bro? Hey, man, I checked out that song that you made, bro. That was dope. And I got halfway through that video. I got to watch the rest of it. That second video that you came out with. That was dope, man. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? Keep it up. You know what I mean? So we already see that there's some shady business going on here. So let's investigate it a little bit further, all right? Let's check out what's going on. So we see that Stack 5 left out Jimmy Pitaro. Jimmy Pitaro is above the law. Nobody's talking about him except for the New York Times. Listen here, you know, I'm the bad guy that sits behind the desk, and we got the nice furniture in the office. And one thing that you all need to know is that you surface level people better not mention my name, or else your files will be exposed within 60 seconds. If he is the president of the company, isn't he ultimately responsible for the company? A company, a corporation is an artificial person, right? It's an artificial person. And inside that, quote, organization, wait, you can't hear it? Can you not hear me? Is the mic picking me up? Can you, if you guys can hear, type it in the comments. Miss Jazzy, for a reason 2.0, says that she can't hear. I just turned it to this so I can make sure that the waveform is responding to the mic. And it looks like it is. But if the audio is not coming through, let me know. You good? Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right, that's what's up. Good looking out, Ro. Appreciate you, bro. Sound is all good. All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. Much appreciated. Wiggy Will, appreciate it. You good. That's what's up. Loud and clear. All right, Jesse, that's what's up. Appreciate you. All right. See how I just tricked y'all into dropping on them comments into the thing to engage? Operant conditioning. Positive reinforcement. Oh, man. You know what I'm saying? That's some shade right there, man. Don't trust anybody. You know what I'm saying? Don't trust these people out here on YouTube. They be tricking y'all into all kind of stuff, man. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, man. So where's Jimmy at in all of this? Jimmy hasn't put out an official statement. Why is that? There's a bunch of unofficial statements floating around. Jason Whitlock's unofficial statement is floating around. Stack 5's unofficial statement is floating around. Matt Barnes' unofficial statement is floating around. Where's the official statement? We got Jalen Rose's daughter on TikTok making videos. Maria Taylor, she made a video that I saw this morning. That's fine. I want to hear what Jimmy has to say. I want to hear leaked audio of these several phone conversations and who he was talking to and what exactly it was that he was trying to smooth over. How come nobody's asking about that? Pavlov would be proud. I know. Ivan Pavlov, he'd be proud. You did very well. You conditioned the audience appropriately. That's what he would say, sounding like the Baroness on G.I. Joe. You did very well. You conditioned the subjects very appropriately. You know what I mean? That's right. That's right, Ivan. We did it. That's hilarious. So, where's Jimmy? Where's his statement on all of this? Stack 5 has so much vitriol for ESPN, but he's not mentioning ESPN. If you're the president or the CEO of a company, doesn't that mean that because a company is an organization, your body is an organization, right? And a company is an artificial person, which means that the business units and departments of an organization are the what? Organs. That's why your body has organs, because it's organized. There's a hierarchy. And guess what? Two things at the top of that hierarchy are. They're your brain, which is one of the reasons why the brain is at the top. So what will be the equivalent to an artificial person, corporate organization's brain? It will be the CEO or the president. And then you have neurons. The neurons, that could be the stockholders or the other department heads or a combination of both, right? We're talking about an artificial person. So we're not out of the realms of possibility. We're not out of the realms of, making sense, describing it this way. This is actually an accurate description. Right? So we're dealing with the brain. That's one of the reasons why Jimmy is talking for the organization. He had several phone calls while at a family event trying to smooth it over. He's speaking. He's providing the communication for the artificial person. So he's acting as the brain and the mouth, communicating a message that he's coming up with from his mouth on behalf of this artificial person that he represents, right? Where is his statement? Where is he at? The lack of statement is a statement in itself. Facts. Okay, fam, here's the deal. When these media outlets step out of line and go after blacks, president of these media outlets need to be called out. Go to the top, not the bottom. Yeah. When you shoot to kill, you don't aim at somebody's toe. When you shoot to kill, you don't aim at no kneecaps. What you aim at? You aim at the head. All right, so now we dealing with the head of ESPN. Where's he at? The brother MIA. And I ain't talking about Miami. So now here it says, some of those involved saw the initial maneuvering as a sign of the network favoring Nichols. Now let's stop right there. So they interpreted the CEO's moves as favoring Nichols. What do you see being mirrored by these people who feel so strongly about their position and about who they're defending? Does that mirror what the New York Times is saying about the president? Some of those involved saw the initial maneuvering as a sign of the network favoring Nichols. All of these people who are talking, Jason Whitlock, Stack 5, Matt Barnes, what does it sound like? What are they doing? What is their rhetoric support? What is their rhetoric support, guys? Who does it sound like? Everybody who's coming out going hard, who are they supporting? Has anyone come out and supported Maria Taylor other than Jalen Rose's daughter, who doesn't work for ESPN, and independent content creators? I mean, this the army is out. They coming from out of the woodwork for Rachael Nichols. What you defending this woman from her own actions? She was the one that said it. Not only did she say it, she wasn't careful. Anytime I'm at work, anytime I'm in the public, I know what time it is. I know everybody has a camera. I know there's cameras all over the place. We go in Walmart, there's cameras all over the place. You can't even sneak and scratch your ass anymore. Somebody gonna see it. It'll be somewhere on Instagram, on something. Look, like this person was at Walmart. They scratched their butt. So that's not even at work. That's not even in a place of employment. So just imagine if you were in a place of employment. Guess what? More than likely, you're being recorded. So why would you discuss business and in a controversial way, being careless like that. The problem is that these media conglomerates are literal hydras, multiple heads. You cut one, two come out in place. One of the effects of monopoly in the US is the lack of enforcement created them. Facts. Those are facts. So my question for you guys, I need to see either yeses or nos in the comments. My man Kid Fit in the building. What's up, bro? Good to see you. If y'all not subscribed to my man's channel, go to Grind and Motivate on YouTube. All right. And this channel right here, Kid Fit. He'll get you in shape. He'll get you ready to beat up one of them Paul brothers. You know what I'm saying? He'll do that. You know what I'm saying? You have to let the president of ESPN know they're being racist. They hate the race card. Yeah. And I find it interesting that they call it a race card, because isn't a card associated with a cash balance? We've never got any cash for any of the racism that we deal with here in the United States. We've never gotten any reparations. So how does that work as far as the cash balance? How does that work? But it's a card, though. Here, I'm going to give you my Visa MasterCard. This just for the race. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pull out about $600 or $700 on the race card. What? Nah, it'll come back and say not sufficient funds because there's never been a deposit on it. So why do they use that as an analogy? I don't get it. Race card, you know. How does that work? That's the question. And that's the question we got to figure out. That's what we have to figure out. Who actually has cash balance behind the quote race? It's not us. We don't have no assets. We don't have no businesses. We don't have money. We don't have, gold. We don't have anything. There's actual cash balance, actual cash assets, actual tangible resources associated with other races. So we really actually don't have a race card. We have a card with the broken microchip, the broken magnetic strip. And then even if the magnetic strip in the card, the microchip work, it ain't nothing on the card. It get returned every time you turn it in. Well, there's a lot of cards in that deck. Yeah, facts. Isn't it? Speaking of cards, isn't it interesting how the deck of cards has 52 cards in it, and there's 52 weeks in the year? You think that was an accident? AJ Graves is in the house, man. That's what's up, man. Good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing good. Salute to you. But can't we say that their racism is merely cultural truth being expressed amongst foreign companies? The code has to come from a specific unisource. Yeah. I mean, otherwise, what other explanation is there other than denial of it? Because literally, if you listen to Jason Whitlock, and I advise everybody to either watch my last video that I did, or I have it linked in the description box. Go look at the video, or go click the Blaze article link. Jesse Miller said, my card also appears to be broken. I feel it, man. I feel it. That's why we just got to get the money. We got to get the money, the gold, the crypto, everything. You know what I'm saying? The cards ain't working. The financial system is fake. That's why the money don't work. That's why you have people doing stuff like this for worthless money. You know what I'm saying? The whole illusion of finance is that's another video for another live stream for another day. You know what I'm saying? So this is just, it just gets more and more and more and more bizarre as we get into this. So first you got to ask yourself, what is Jimmy's stance on this entire thing? All right, that's question number one. What is Jimmy's stance on this entire thing? Question number two, why do Jason Whitlock, Stack 5, and Matt Barnes all sound like they're mirroring what people interpreted Jimmy's statements being. And why isn't Jimmy being asked for a statement? What do you guys think? That's the question. How do you guys feel about that? That's called the gaslighting card. Yeah, I totally agree. That's the kerosene. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the kerosene. So if you guys haven't liked this, the video, please make sure that you do help your boy out. You know what I'm saying? Share this video out to all of your followers. You know, got to throw in a little, you know, spread the message there because, you know, YouTube ain't going to do it. You know what I mean? We on Twitch. Make sure you follow us on Twitch, DLive, Trovo, Facebook, Haps. All right. So now here it says some of those involved saw the initial maneuvering as a sign of the network favoring Nichols. Isn't that what Kwame Brown was implying? Didn't Kwame Brown imply that Nichols was being favored? They all are friends behind the scenes. Yeah, that's facts. Jimmy's stance is company good, company not racist. Don't ask questions, consume product, facts, and pay me. Facts. That's the facts. Jimmy's stance, staying on cold and upholding a system of illegitimacy, and Whitlock and Jason co-signing to receive their butter biscuits. Facts, yet again. Yet again, facts. Who's the president of ESPN? The president of ESPN is this man named Jimmy. Hold on, where is it? Let me see. Where is he at? Jimmy Pitaro. That's who they have listed as the president of ESPN. Buffering. They're eventually going to get a point of view from the whale of the group, but they'll play out the majority of that energy with his pawns. The facts. Facts. That's why one of the most important things to do is identify the pawns when it comes to these games. All right. That's one of the most important things. That's how you, again, get to the base reality. Uh-oh, shoot. Sounds like his stance might actually be reverse cowgirl. Facts or doggy style. That's the facts. So now here it says it had declined to discipline Nichols despite fury throughout the company over her remark. So look, this is the thing. So what I find funny, and I want you guys to pay attention to this. I want to see what you guys' stance is on this. This article is written in a way where it's not telling us that these statements and these things were already known at ESPN. They're talking about the company having issues with Rachel's statement, but allegedly this is new information and it just came out, right? Are you guys noticing that? Do you guys need me to go back and reread the paragraph? Do you see how it has the timelines blended? Remember what I said about in the system of illegitimacy, they'll always try to not only take control of the narrative, but they'll also try to warp reality in order to shift timelines to make you disoriented and confused. If you're reading this article and you've been exposed to this information only based on the exposure of the recent release of this phone call, then you're thinking that that's the timeline. But this is talking about a whole effort that has already taken place. New York Times put this article out already with complete background information, more information than is actually being talked about in social media, in the actual media, and just in common conversation. So where are we at on the timeline in this article? This is my question for you guys. Everybody that's in here, let me know. Big facts. These things have been going on. Exactly. Exactly. And they've already went all the way up the ladder to the president of the company. And the president of the company said, listen here, basically what's going to happen is, nothing's going to happen to Rachel. And you guys better be on accord with that. I mean, am I wrong? Is that what it looked like? Is that what happened? Let the black folks fight it out. There you go. Who's fighting it out? They don't want anyone to have all the facts. They're giving their thoughts. They're giving people their thoughts. Lazy now, can't even think for themselves. Facts. Facts. So this is what we got to ask ourselves. This is one of the questions that we got to ask ourselves. So this is interesting now. My question is, do you guys agree with me that effectively Stack 5, Jason Whitlock, and Matt Barnes are all saying the same thing? Where did they get the directive from? Remember, Jason Whitlock also used to work for ESPN. He works for ESPN and doesn't like ESPN. He's now with Blaze. But he's going in on Maria Taylor in defense of Rachael Nichols. How's that work? Yo, Dark Star, what up? How does that work? You guys explain that to me. Am I along the right lines with my thought process? Or am I just completely off base? Like, if you guys lost me, like, just be like, yeah, hey, listen, Rob, we lost you, man. I don't know what you're talking about. you keep smoking on that vape. You need to stop smoking that shit. Go ahead. We in here. You know what I'm saying? So do y'all agree with me or do y'all disagree? That's my question. Are we on the right track here with the things that we're asking? Are we on the right track with the things that we're asking, or are we somewhat out of bounds? What's the general consensus? I want to feel out the climate in the room. I want to know what you guys think. Delmo says he agrees. That's what's up. That's what's good. So we're all on the same page. So it seems like ESPN had already made their decision. They're going to favor Nichols. And all of the pawns have all followed suit. They're following what Jimmy said, or they're following the interpretation of what Jimmy said, because remember, we don't necessarily know what Jimmy said yet. Jesse says sounds legit. All right, that's what's up. She made this statement during a phone call nearly a year ago after learning she would not host coverage during the 2020 NBA Finals, as she had been expecting. The 2020 NBA Finals. So this stuff all originated last year. My question, was anybody aware of this? Was anybody aware of this? Because the dates here, it says that this goes back as far as last year. But we have it all out here now in the open as if this is something new. But apparently they knew at ESPN about these conversations. They knew at ESPN about the stuff that she said. I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football. She covers basketball. Nichols said in July 2020, if you need to give her more things to do because you are feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which, by the way, I know personally from the female side of it, like, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You are not going to find it from me or taking my things away. So here we go. You got to ask yourself the question about Rachael Nichols. Why is she not saying this stuff directly to Jimmy, but yet Jimmy still has her back? No, I was not aware. Yeah, no, me neither. People are aware for a few days, they forget. Outrage culture, ironically, de-incentivize paying attention to important topics since you are pressured into keeping up with the latest fad outrage. I totally agree. You guys agree with what Lucas said? I agree with that. That's very accurate, in my opinion. That's very accurate. So now here it says ESPN has been trying and often failing to deal with the scandal for months, but a fast approaching deadline is forcing the network to show at least some of its cards. Taylor's contract expires during the NBA Finals, which start on Tuesday between the Phoenix Suns and the Milwaukee Bucks, yet few substantive steps have been taken towards a new deal, even though Pitaro has identified Taylor as one of ESPN's rising stars. So it sounds like Pitaro is taking what? He's taking two sides of an argument, isn't he? Isn't that directly from the playbook? What if all this is ESPN setup to make ESPN relevant? Oh, I'm sure there's an element of that, MC Fact. Absolutely. You guys agree with what MC Fact said? I absolutely agree with that. I'm sure there's definitely an element of that ingrained in all of this. I agree with that. It's the Grand Coliseum. Put on a little show. Keep all the people entertained. Absolutely. Miss Jazzy for a reason agrees. Sarah Lynn says, on track. Their narrative is never linear. They deconstruct the facts. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely true. So where do we go from here? Because don't you think, right? Yes, agree with MC Fact. Yeah, me too. If you guys agree with MC Fact, let me know. So what we have currently, right? This is what we have currently. What we currently have is Maria allegedly getting her job from diversity, allegedly. We also have in the same sentence Rachael Nichols saying that she understands and that she's dealt with that kind of thing. But then we have Jason Whitlock attacking Maria based on the things that Rachael said that she went through. How does that work? What do we have there? That's a giant word salad and a bunch of nonsense and a script, like MC Fact said. Rachael Nichols is attempting to validate and debunk her own talking points. She's attempting to validate and debunk her own talking points all at the same time. And that's why when you actually break this down, when you actually look into it, this is one of the reasons why it sounds so nonsensical. I mean, this sounds insane. You guys agree or do you disagree? So now here it says whether or not ESPN and Taylor agree on a contract, the internal damage from the past year has been substantial. This article is based upon interviews with more than a dozen current and former ESPN employees, as well as others with knowledge of the company's inner workings. Most of them spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized by ESPN to speak to the news media because of paperwork they had signed upon leaving the company. Do you think Jason Whitlock is bound by that paperwork? Who all do you think is bound by similar paperwork? What is actually said on that paperwork? Why is it that none of that paperwork ever gets leaked? Nobody takes a picture of that paperwork? We can get a phone call, and the phone call can get leaked out, but actual paper that is actually stored somewhere in a computer on the same server that got hacked for this phone call, we don't know the details of these people's contracts. Is that okay to keep people silent? How do you guys feel about this paragraph that I just read? Nobody, you know, what I find interesting is that, you know, the government regulates a lot of stuff, but they sure as heck don't regulate that. That's just okay, you know? Jason Fatlock is paid. He always has been. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Totally agree. That's why his neck has all those sausages on the back of it, just dripping maple syrup and fat down onto his shirt. So now this part here, this talks about the video. All right. We're gonna talk about the video. See, and I'm OCD. I don't like when those other extra pieces get put into highlighting. You know what I'm saying? I like it to be like clean and crisp. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jason Fatlock. You know what I'm saying? Fat maple syrup. He looked like Slimer with a business suit on. You remember Slimer from the Ghostbusters? I mean, seriously. Hold on real quick. We're gonna take a break real quick. We're gonna look at this. And my question for y'all is, do y'all remember Slimer? The Clinton Foundation is probably involved in the fine print of said paperwork. Probably never find that. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Absolutely. I'm just curious if y'all know who this gentleman here is. Have y'all ever seen him before? Man, please. Especially like, look at the side view, man. All them chins. Tell me that don't look like Jason Whitlock. That's him right there. Oh, I can't wait to get on here and start talking about Maria Taylor. Let me just tuck all of my necks inside of my collar, turn this microphone on, and it's on. I'm gonna put her in her place. Man, looking just like Whitlock. Hot breath smoking. You can see the steam coming out of his mouth. Come on, man. Get it together. Look at him. Just waiting for some food. I can just sit here with my mouth like this and just eat all day, and I still have a better body than Serena Williams. Like, seriously? Come on, bro. Let's not do that, okay? We're gonna need Jason Whitlock to stop comparing himself to women. Can you please stop doing that? He actually compared himself to Maria Taylor in that article from Blaze. I couldn't imagine being as fragile as Maria Taylor. I just couldn't imagine it. Yes, that's Harry Reid. I'm not sure. Is it? I couldn't imagine being as frail and fragile as Maria Taylor. I mean, I'd hope not. You're a man, a very large man. One of them plus size brothers. You really better not be anywhere near as fragile as Maria Taylor. So I'm gonna put this back up on the screen real quick. The New York Times article. You know what I'm saying? We digressed a little bit. All right. So now here it says in mid-July last year, Nichols was staying at the Colorado Springs Resort. I'm sorry, not Colorado Springs, at the Cordano Springs Resort at Walt Disney near Orlando, Florida, confined to her room for 7 days because of the NBA's coronavirus protocols before the season resumed. She had with her a video camera so that she could continue appearing on ESPN shows, primarily The Jump, a daily NBA show that she hosted since 2016. But she was eyeing hosting duties for ESPN's pregame and postgame shows during the playoffs and finals, the network's most important studio basketball programming. That host is the face of ESPN's NBA coverage. And before the pandemic, both she and Taylor hosted different versions of the show. About the time Nichols arrived in Florida, she was told by executives that Taylor would host coverage during the NBA Finals. Nichols discussed her career on a phone call on July 13th of 2020 with Adam Mendelsohn. Now, do you guys know who Adam Mendelsohn is? If you guys know who Adam Mendelsohn is, type it in the comments. All right. Because I'm going to show you all a picture of this Adam Mendelsohn character. I mean, it's kind of favors Michael Moore. Yeah, it does favor Michael Moore. You talking about Slimer? Absolutely. Now, I'm going to show him to you. Prepare, because this is disturbing. I might get my video demonetized for this. Ah! He just looked like he up to no good. He literally looks like the only reason he would ever play a video game is to just completely take over the world. He looks like the human version of the Brain. You remember Pinky and the Brain? Jason Whitlock is Pinky, and this dude right here is the Brain. What are we gonna do today, Brian? We're gonna do the same thing we try to do every day, Pinky. Try and take over the world. That's exactly what this dude looked like. You know what I'm saying? And smiling at you. Like, seriously? Come on, man. What's going on here? This guy is LeBron James's agent. Did you guys know that? He's an advisor to LeBron James. This fella here, the Brain. I bet you he actually gets the contracts for the aliens that play in Space Jam because he probably the Uber driver or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, Jesse. He looks like a diseased Jeff Bezos. Yeah. That's kind of this. Wow, it's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of wild there. Sorry about that. You see, as I put that picture up, I lost viewers in here. Y'all can come back now. You know what I mean? I know it's just for a minute. It was kind of scary. But y'all can come back. LeBron advisor. Damn, yeah. That guy, Mendelsohn, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we'll get there eventually. But if I'm not mistaken, that's actually the guy who released the phone call. That's him. Did you know that? See, here's the article that says that. Let's see. Whoops. All right, hold on real quick. He looks like a young version of the old guy boss of Homer. Said, yeah, what was his name? Damn, what was his name? Smithers? Wasn't that his name? Smithers? He do look like Smithers. Yeah, he do look like Smithers. That's crazy. He looked like a terminally sick Zuckerberg. Yeah, no doubt. So now here it says LeBron James's advisor breaks the silence on tone deaf comments in Rachael Nichols / Maria Taylor scandal. Rachael Nichols / Maria Taylor scandal. So this is him right here. I mean, this dude is kind of dressed like he's about to grab a violin and, you know, play in the symphony. LeBron James is, you know, he's looking confused. What the hell you done got us into? And you just got Rachael Nichols right there, and you know what I'm saying, like Maria Taylor. Very interesting. LeBron James is right there. You know what I'm saying? Just what happened? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So we will get to this article eventually. But this is why it's important to know all of these characters in these scripts. That's who that is. All right. That's who that is. So let me see. Let me just bring this back up here real quick. Where's we at? Here we go. New York Times. All right. There it is right there. All right. So here we go. All right. So let's go back here. At about the time that Nichols arrived in Florida, she was told by executives that Taylor would host coverage during the NBA Finals. Nichols discussed her career on a phone call on July 13th of 2020 with Adam Mendelsohn, the longtime advisor of Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James and James' agent, Rich Paul. So she had this discussion. If you listen, the person on the phone that she's talking to is LeBron James' agent and LeBron James' advisor. Now, I got a question. Have you seen the most recent Kwame Brown live streams? He keeps asking about LeBron James. Now you know. Now you know why he keeps asking about LeBron James. He keeps asking, oh, what's LeBron going to say about this? What's LeBron going to say about this? Why LeBron quiet? Why LeBron quiet? This is why he's asking why LeBron is quiet. This is the reason right here. So are we starting to make sense of all this? Are we starting to put it all together? Does it all seem to make sense? Like Saul Goodman said, oh, what tangled webs we weave. You know what I'm saying? We weave. We definitely weave some tangled webs. You know what I'm saying? So let's digest this real quick. All right. This is what I want to do. I want to ask you guys if we can dive into this, if we can digest it real quick. All right. My question is, what do you guys think about this? What are your initial thoughts? How do you feel about it? Does it make any sense? Yes or no? Let me know. Let me know how you guys feel about it. Let me know what you guys think about it. All right. Because I'm curious. So let me know if the sound is buffering or going in and out, because it looks like I think I might be having some technical issues on my end. Sorry about that, guys. Remember, Obama got LeBron to stop the boycott. LeBron is paid for too. Facts. And if you guys didn't know about LeBron stopping that boycott, I know a great place where you can go and watch a video about that. And while you over there, make sure you subscribe to that channel. You want to say it, MC Fact, or you want me to say it? It sounds like corporate speak carefully manufactured to send no message whatsoever. Facts. Gotta agree with that. You guys agree with what Lucas said? Yes or no? I totally agree with that. That is 100% accurate, in my opinion. You say it. All right, I'll say it. My man TD Hip Hop has a great video about that. So take your time, either during or after. Make sure you go over to TD Hip Hop Media, hit the bell icon twice on that channel, and watch not only all of the videos, but that one first. All right. And here we go with this. Well, I mean, if you guys want to, help the platform out, you can use Stream Elements. All you got to do is just click that link. That's annoying. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm kind of OCD. I don't like clicking things that I'm not supposed to and putting extra stuff up on the screen. It's really irritating to me. Like, I'm gonna look like I gotta edit this part out. All right, so here it says Nichols was speaking with Mendelsohn to request an interview with James and his Lakers teammate Anthony Davis. You see this? Nichols was speaking with Mendelsohn to request an interview. This is how these people are linked. So she was speaking on this phone call while this woman is being a racist. She's trying to secure an interview with two black dudes. And of course, the advisor is gonna, I'll get them to you. What you gonna do for me? I scratch your back, you scratch mine. You know what I mean? Nichols was speaking with Mendelsohn in a request for an interview with James and his Laker teammate, Anthony Davis, whom Paul also represents. See how that works? So Paul has two of them. He's got Anthony Davis and he's got LeBron James. He's basically got the two best players on the team. So now if James's advisors and James's agents are friendly with Rachael Nichols, what do you expect LeBron James to come out and do? What do you think he's going to say? I need to hear from you guys. What do these dynamics say? What is the next step of these dynamics? My man, Law is up in the house. What's good with you, bro? What are these dynamics saying? What these dynamics are saying is that LeBron James is not going to say anything. That's why Kwame Brown keeps asking, where's LeBron? Where's LeBron? This is why. Nobody's doing like any crazy, research or anything. It's right here in the article. But again, if you write things down in long form format, that's the best place to hide stuff from people. They're not going to watch it. They're not going to listen to it. They're not going to read it. They're not going to comb through it for information. They're not going to take notes, because who actually has time to do that? Unless you live stream, unless you do this kind of thing, and unless you have a significant following, you know what I mean, where you're getting ad revenue, you have memberships and super chats and different things like that. You don't have time to do that kind of stuff. You don't have time to break down those kind of details. You don't have the resources to break down those kind of details. So we're dependent on the mainstream media to do it. And they're only giving us tidbits. Do you guys agree that they're only giving us tidbits in this article? They haven't put out everything. They haven't told us everything. Right? So my question is, are we clear? Is everybody under the understanding? So next time you go and watch one of Kwame Brown's live streams, when Kwame Brown starts asking about LeBron James, what do you guys say while you're in there? Well, LeBron James isn't going to say anything. LeBron James isn't going to say anything. And if he does say something, what he says is going to be favorable towards Nichols, because LeBron James's agent and LeBron James's advisors is friendly with, and has done deals with. A deal was being done on that phone call with Rachael Nichols. When Wu-Tang Clan said cash rules everything around me, they wasn't playing. Appreciate it, Don. You like the lighting? I just set that up yesterday. I still got a lot more to do as far as like getting this studio together. But let me know though. Do y'all like it? Is this better than the old videos? Y'all want me to? I'll go back to making them with just the website, not not showing any of this. But you know, like they say that you get a little bit more interaction and like things are a little bit more personal, and you know, you make a better connection with your audience if you have like, you know, like a comfortable environment per se. Is this a comfortable environment? Do you guys like this? Is it easy to watch? Is it aesthetically pleasing? Let me know. You know what I'm saying? I might have to put it on the community wall and see. The lamp makes it look homely. I got to get rid of the lamp. The only reason why I like that lamp is because when I don't use the heavy lighting in the front, I can, it's a black light inside of it. I can turn it on and it makes it look purple. You know what I'm saying? But I can get rid of the lamp though. Should we take a vote on the lamp? Is the lamp is the lamp staying or the lamp going? Delmo says the lamp got to go. And Delmo is my man. You know what I'm saying? Delmo is one of them people that have been rocking with me since, you know what I'm saying, before I had like any kind of significant numbers. You know what I'm saying? So let me know. Shatera said, let me think. Yeah, think on it. Don't make any hasty decisions. Anytime you make a hasty decision, that could affect your life for the long term. So don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Let's just we're gonna take a breath and think this through. It's still got the plastic on it. I don't be liking taking plastic off of shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit'll get all dusty. You know what I mean? You have to vacuum clean it. Then you mess up, you mess it up. You know what I mean? No, I like the lamp. Oh, you like the lamp. See, that's the problem with words. See, when people say homely is like, you know, this looks kind of homely. It's kind of tacky. Like when people say homely, you know what I'm saying, it's tacky. But what you meant was like, it makes it look like inside of a home. So should I get like one of those modern art type lamps, like, you know, like the square thing? You know what I mean? Like you ever drove past them new houses that's like square and it looks out of place? The lamp do for real? Which lamp? Which one? This one here? Or this one? The big one or the small one? Keep the lamp just to irritate the audience. I like that idea. Yeah. Hell yeah, Zip. That's a good ass idea. I like that. Cause you know I like to troll, man. You know what I mean? I do enjoy that. That is fun. You know what I'm saying? Can we trust Kwame Brown? I mean, he kind of just popped on the scene. Hope this isn't too off topic. My opinion, don't trust anybody. If you can't see inside of their brain, or if you can't accurately predict their thoughts based on behavior, don't trust anybody. I wouldn't advise anybody to trust me off of first encounter. Trust me after I've built up a pattern of predictability, and respect, and integrity. If this is your first time watching my content, if this is the first time you're in this video, if this is the first time you ever interacted in one of my live streams, don't trust me. Do your research. See if the things that I say are consistent. See if I validate things with actual facts. See if I'm honest. And apply those same things to anybody else. I never expect somebody to just give me their trust. Yeah, the black light media sign is on point. That's what's up. The shade is too much for me, but I'm the minority. That's hey, get used to it. No, I'm just I'm just playing. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. You know what I mean? See what I'm saying, man? I told y'all I like to troll, man. I like to troll. Keep the lamp. All right, that's what's up. The lamp needs a name. What should we name it? Rob has been predictably annoying the entire time. No, you're right, man. I'm an annoying in a good way type of annoying. Like I'm like smart little brother annoying. Like I'm just as annoying as a little immature brother. Like why is idiot acting and saying these things and doing the things that he do? But you know, I got your best interest in mind, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that, you know what I mean? Like, man, I'm harmless, man. You know what I'm saying? Homely the lamp, Genie the lamp. I think what I'm gonna do is next I'm gonna either put a community post up here or in the next broadcast. I think I'm gonna do both. In the next broadcast, I'm gonna put a poll in there with the bots, and the bots will ask y'all about the lamp, and y'all just answer the bots as it asks. All right. And I'll put a community post on there too. You know what I'm saying? We'll set a date on it. We'll do like, I don't know, however many votes we get by the end of the week about the lamp. Should we replace the lamp with something different? Should we keep the lamp? What should the names be for the lamp? Should we name the lamp Stack 5? Should we name the lamp Jason Fatlock? That's my question, man. Like, that's my question. Should we name it Jason Fatlock? Jason Fat Lamp? You know what I mean? I don't know. If you're gonna replace it, it better be with a sex doll. Oh no, I don't do that. No. None of those. No. No, thank you. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a little bit too much for me. But you know what's crazy though? That's actually the way that society is going. There's actually people that advocate for that. I don't need to get a real woman. I can get a sex bot. No, what you're actually saying is that you can't get a woman, so you have to get a sex bot. And they aggressively come at you with that too. Oh, so what are you gonna do about like emotional fulfillment? What are you gonna do to try to, satisfy your relationship needs or your emotional needs? What are you talking about? I'll just go to my nearest store and buy a sex bot. You don't have to be so aggressive about it. You know what I mean? Only if you give me credit for the Fatlock name. Just so everyone is aware, MC Fact is the originator of the Fatlock name. You remember he used to have his own TV show back in the day? It was called Fatlock. Wasn't he like a cop or something like that? You remember Matlock? We got Fatlock up in here now. It's being sponsored by Blaze TV. Oh, man. So, yeah, no, I feel you, man. And, that's why, I like listening to Kwame. You know what I mean? But I like listening to him when he's talking about things that I find relevant. Now, do I trust people off the rip when I first see them? No. If I quote them, I'll quote something that they say that makes sense to me, or something that I identify with, or something. This is pretty clever. This is pretty crafty. But do you trust people? Nah, I'm not. I don't trust people until I see what you're doing. Because here's my thing. I used to like Fat Joe. You go on my Facebook, you know what I'm saying? I was a huge Fat Joe fan. You know what I'm saying? Fat Joe used to be my dude, man. But his recent comments that he made about Sha'Carri Richardson and the recent comments that he made about Bill Cosby, man, I ain't messing with Fat Joe no more, man. Fat Joe, like, I can't mess with you no more, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm mad disappointed in Fat Joe. I've seen men with sex dolls online. That shit is weird as hell. Yeah. Listen, there's actually like a whole group of men who are like advocating for a whole new life with sex dolls. And I just find that very odd. It's just very strange to me. Tila Tequila scared men into sex dolls. I believe it, man, because Tila Tequila is a bubblehead, fish-eyed fool. Could you imagine what kind of child her and Jason Whitlock will produce? It would be like a blowfish. What did Fat Joe say about Cosby? Fat Joe declared that Bill Cosby was guilty. Really, Joe? Huh. Okay. Yeah, Fat Joe said it. Some people like Tariq Nasheed. Some people watch Tariq Nasheed. If you watch him, he actually played the whole video. There's another channel on YouTube that I think has the video. It's a channel. There's two channels that I know. It's one called Prophet Muscle, and it's another one called Forgotten Kings TV. Both of those have that video. But then Fat Joe also said some stuff about Sha'Carri Richardson. You know what I'm saying? Sex doll is like a condom without the woman. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's the lazy society that we live in. Like people just, you know, it's easier for me to deal with this doll than it is for me to deal with a woman. I have my issues with women. You know what I mean? Like I say things about women. Sometimes a lot of times I say not very nice things about women, but we need women. You can't live in a world without women. Just like women need men, as much as we already know women ain't gonna admit that they need men. Like, we don't need y'all. Okay, you know, whatever. You know, you just got to deal with certain things, especially like if you just want to have a functional life, some normalcy. You know what I mean? When women say they don't need you, you know what I mean? Like they're actually telling you, like, you know, we want you to stick around. That's what they're saying. You know what I mean? Women tend to, you know, they speak in proverbs. They can't just say something directly. I can't stand you. That means I love you. Now, when a dude is like, I can't stand you, I mean, I can't stand your ass. You know what I'm saying? You really need to go. But when a woman says it, you know, okay, I don't know what the hell you're talking about half the time anyway, so whatever. But the thing that's funny is like, instead of acknowledging that, like dudes and women both, instead of acknowledging that and knowing that there's two different kinds of communication and just translating it, we don't. Women and men only take each other literally when dealing with women and men. Why is that? Why do we behave like that? Is that conditioning? Fat Joe allegedly hide money due to Big Pun's wife. Yeah, I heard that. Isn't that one of the reasons why him and Cuban Link had issues? Him and 50 had issues too. But what I find interesting is you know 50 didn't come out and defend any of these people either. Making your entire personality about a sex doll. Imagine that. Yeah. Putting emotion into inanimate objects. But if you think about that concept, though, of putting emotion into inanimate objects, we've been doing that for a very long time, i.e., the financial system. People put all of their life, energy, and work into money. It's all about the Hegelian dialectic. That's my new phrase for what's going on here. That's a fact, bro. That's literally what's going on throughout the entire world. That's it. That is what it is. You can literally apply that to almost every single situation. Who knows? This actually could be an internal orchestrated Hegelian dialectic situation. That one of the reasons why it's perfectly normal for anybody to ask, well, Kwame just kind of busted on the scene. Can we trust him? I don't think that Kwame would have an issue with people saying that. I think that the way that Kwame presents himself, I don't think that he would have an issue with people saying that. I think that Kwame would tell you, well, you know, check me out. Check my track record. Pay attention to the things that I say. If you like what I say, if it makes sense, if you see consistency in it, make your own judgment. That's what I think that Kwame would say. I don't think that he would be offended by anybody asking that question, because in my opinion, it's always a valid question. If somebody can't, I don't know if you can trust Rob. You don't. How do you know? I've been on YouTube for, you know what I'm saying, for some time, and, you know, Delmo's been in my videos, so he knows the things that I say are consistent. MC Fact is familiar with me, you know what I'm saying. Shatera and Dawn know me from another app that I used to create content for. But for people that don't know me, you know what I mean? Blondie Lee 303, you know what I mean? People that don't know me, other than those people, Jesse Miller, you know what I'm saying? He knows me. Gary, the guy that comes in here named Gary, he does have some inconsistencies. He does. Absolutely. I totally agree. I don't think I've heard him say anything about Jason Whitlock yet. I'd be interested to see what he says. If you guys watch my video that I did about that, that was one of the first things that I said. So he does. He is absolutely very inconsistent. It's kind of listening to the things that he said about what was that girl's name in Columbus? The young girl that got killed. Oh man, why I can't think of what her name was. I saw the video that he did about that, and I was like, huh. But sometimes, you know, I don't know, man. Like sometimes things come off, you know, different or whatever. Like, you know, my podcast that I had recorded yesterday, you know, there was people that disagreed. You know what I'm saying? They were like, you know, no, yeah, I agree. I'm talking about Kwame too. Yeah, I'm talking about Kwame too. He does have some inconsistencies. Absolutely, he totally does. I agree with you. You know what I mean? What's that girl's name that got killed in Columbus, Ohio, by the police officer during that fight? I was kind of, I listened to the comments that he was saying about her, and I was just like, huh, that's an interesting take. You know what I mean? Interesting take. Now, anybody that has known me for a long time, if you listen to the criticism that I had about the way that those people dealt with that man in that neighborhood who was saying the racial slurs and they pulled up on him, there's a reason why I have an issue with the whole pull-up thing. Appreciate you, Law. There's an issue that I have with the pull-up thing, and it's consistent. You can go back in like all my content and like look, because I'm more about long-lasting cerebral solutions, not using so much things that would put us in a risky situation with more than one thing. I'm more into something impactful and long-lasting. So anytime, you know, I see something like that, I'm like, this is kind of cringe for me, because what I want a situation where someone is sued. I want a situation where there's a long-lasting punishment. I want a situation where people seize it. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me though, and everybody has their own idea. You know what I mean? And I respect people's ideas. I'm one of the most open-minded people that you'll ever meet. I'm one of the most tolerant people. Like I always tell everybody, people come to my content and be like, yo, you're saying all this stuff. Nah, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of the most liberal people in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm one of the most liberal people in the world when it comes to social issues and social relationships. I think that people should just, you know, try to get along. But the reason why we can't get along is because people just won't be honest. And I'm not going to uphold dishonesty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to do that. So if you can't be honest, then we can't get along. You know what I mean? Like, that's just that. But I'm not about to sit here and be like, I don't do that. That's not me. It's not how I get down. You know what I'm saying? No one ever agrees 100%. And that's important. That's how we get discussions. Yeah, I agree. And that's what we were supposed to have freedom of speech for. It wasn't freedom of speech from the alleged Constitution, allegedly a way where people can disagree with the government. But what's funny is because like everybody's so emotionally charged in the way that the country is, when certain people, quote, use that freedom of speech, it's, quote, a riot. When other people use that freedom of speech, it's, quote, using their freedom of speech. It's the same thing as, quote, upholding your constitutional right. Okay, well, if a police is arresting you unjustly and you defend yourself from the police, you're not really resisting because the arrest is illegitimate. If the police don't tell you what they're arresting you for and they just start pulling on you, that's an illegitimate arrest. A legitimate arrest is when they give you a Miranda and read you your rights. That's why you're getting read your rights. How many times do we see that not happen? So if that's not happening, then that means that by the laws here, that arrest is not legitimate. But you literally see people in the population at large saying, oh, he's resisting. He's resisting. Resisting what? Resisting an illegitimate arrest? An illegitimate arrest is kidnapping. Last time I checked, an illegitimate arrest is kidnapping. How does that work? Think about that. So we got off on like a huge tangent, man. So let's get back to this, because it's already getting late, and I gotta get these articles and stuff lined up. Because don't forget, tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern time on the other channel, or you can go to Izzy High's channel. Me and Izzy, late night. We're gonna have fun with our podcast. MC Effect, you have that right. I totally agree. I ain't mad at it. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it at all. And that's what I do, man. Like when I look at content, you know what I mean? Like I try to take the content for certain things. Like I try to take it for the text. I think one thing that people have an issue with is that they merge the people's personalities, or they merge aspects of that person that they don't like with the content. You might not like somebody's personality, but they might actually be given like healthy information, or they might actually be given healthy content. And because people can't separate their disdain for that personality, or the disdain for how that person presents the content, you know, then they get upset. You know what I mean? You can't, you gotta be able to make that separation. A lot of times people have a difficult time separating those things. You know what I mean? And it's just natural. You know what I mean? I get it though. Trust me, I feel it. You know what I mean? So we already got all of the characters in this movie. We now know why LeBron James is not saying very much. We now know why LeBron James is not saying too much. And it's because of the interweaving of the people who control his access to finance. Despite the fact that LeBron James is one of the closest athletes to being a billionaire, he may actually be a billionaire. Why are you even negotiating? What are you doing? Anytime somebody has that much money and they're still following orders, you have to ask, what do the people that supplied you that money have on you that stops you from making your own moves? I ask that about Jay-Z all the time. I mean, Jay-Z prides himself on being a businessman, but I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not really impressed with Jay-Z as a businessman. He is not impressive to me at all. What has he done? What is he doing? Man, he should have kept I think he was invested in Cash App or something like that really heavily, and he sold it to Jack Dorsey. Why would you do that? Man, Cash App is booming, and now that they integrated Bitcoin into it, why would you sell it? Why would you sell it to somebody who's already a billionaire? You sold your power. Isn't that one of the historical fundamental flaws while we're here already? People selling their power. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that why we're here? So Jay-Z is continuing to perpetuate defective thought processes and idiotic behavior that does nothing, builds nothing, continues a perpetual state of confusion and being broke. Jack Dorsey is reinvesting all of his money into Africa, man. Did y'all know that? I did a video about that on my other channel. If y'all not subscribed to my other channel, make sure y'all click the links in the chat. But I did about the investments that Jack Dorsey is doing. Didn't Jay-Z help gentrify an area and get blacks moved out? I'm not sure. He probably did. I know one thing that he did. He's allies with an organization that helps gentrify black kids with dreads' hair. Ironically, an organization tied into the NFL. All of these people are tied into all of this activism that is going nowhere. Why you got to add? When are we going to start putting pressure on these when are we going to start putting pressure on these celebrities? When are you going to start answering to the black roots or to the grassroots? Why are you answering to activists and activism? There's grassroots objectives that people in the grassroots want more than what these activists are talking about. And allegedly, the activists are actually supposed to be helping the people. But the activists are compromised. So you got to, and you don't think that they know that? So why are you not reaching out to the grassroots? Tell me one celebrity that's alive today that's reaching out to the grassroots and is in touch with people and what people in the grassroots wants. Who are they? Tell me, please drop some names. Let me know. Because I'm sure there are few and far between, but there's not very many. There's not as many that align themselves with activist causes. Why is Jack Dorsey investing more money and time into Africa than Jay-Z is? Does that cosmetically make sense? The dude that came up with a song where the chorus is all black everything sold his business to Jack Dorsey so Jack Dorsey can actually invest in the all black everything. What kind of sense do that make? What kind of sense do it make? How does that make any sense? This is what I'm saying. Like, what we need to do when it comes to dealing with these celebrities is we need to think about what they say, apply what they say to what they do, and pay attention and see what the payoff of the long-term results are and keep track of it. Once we keep track of it and we have multiple records of the failures that these celebrities have, then we need to start putting pressure on them. That's what needs to actually cancel a celebrity is inappropriate reinvestment into your grassroots and into your fan base, the people who actually make you who you are. Because it's not your paymaster that makes you who you are. It's us. We make you who you are, not your paymaster. Your paymaster is paying you to stay relevant to us. And if you're not relevant to us, then guess what? Your paymaster is going to take your pay. And your paymaster is going to pick somebody else. Or we can just become so powerful that we make the choice. There is no paymaster. Just like in, quote, the black market, where economy operates correctly, supply and demand is pure, the people will choose. Isn't it funny how where the economy actually works in an academic way based on supply and demand? It's called, quote, the black market. It's not the, quote, alleged legitimate market. It's not the American economy. In the American economy, we have all different kinds of quantitative easing and adjustment. Oh, we're going to adjust inflation. Oh, we're going to print out more money. We're going to, bring up, the GDP. We're going to sell off these assets and play around with the foreign exchange rate. No, when you're dealing with drugs, you're dealing with drugs. If you're getting some good weed, then it's $15 a gram, period. If there's a shortage, then it's 2025. If I'm getting some really high quality, in demand, good sativa, then you might be paying $350 to $400 for a zip. And that's just it. It's not negotiable. Pure market, pure economy only exists on the dark web and in the underworld. Jay-Z might be a phony. Plus, he's part of a group I won't mention here. Some know about it. Yeah, they call the males archons. I know exactly who you're talking about. A couple people that people don't like to talk about that's actually members of that group. One of them got a holiday. You know what I'm saying? One of them last name is Du Bois. There's many different groups, many different societies, but they all work to put the capstone on the pyramid. So in our eyes, they should all be looked at as the same, because them getting that capstone on that pyramid, it don't have anything to do with us except for us being eternally subjugated in different ways and not understanding or knowing our subjugation or that we are subjugated. So now here it says Nichols was speaking with Mendelsohn to request an interview with James and his Lakers teammate Anthony Davis. So we know. Now we know whom Paul also represents. During the conversation, she also sought advice from Mendelsohn because she believed her bosses were advancing Taylor at her expense. I just want them to go somewhere. It's in my contract. By the way, this job is in my contract in writing, Nichols told Mendelsohn, referring to hosting coverage during the NBA Finals a few minutes after saying ESPN was feeling pressure about racial diversity. Let's listen.
Safe or sporty? We want.
So you gotta love these ads. And the thing that's crazy is, like, man, they put the long ads in there. They make you sit here and listen to this nonsense for 11 seconds, 15 seconds.
They said to me, hey, instead of hosting the NBA Finals, like, why don't you do Doris's silent reporter job for the NBA Finals? Because guess what that would clear the way for? For Maria to do the hosting. Yeah. So I have declined. I don't know what their next move is, but they are feeling pressure because of all of that. And I'm trying to figure out, like, how to just, my thing is, like, I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your, like, crappy long-time record on diversity, which, by the way, I myself, like, know personally from the female side of it, like, go for it. Just, find it somewhere else. Like, you're not going to find it with me and take my thing away.
So basically, she's like, when it comes to what I got, don't mess with what I got. You can do whatever you want to and take the job from anybody else. Just don't mess with what I got. And I forget, I was listening to some content on YouTube. I think I was reading some articles and I forgot. But I mean, that's, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you hear that all the time. Hey, listen, I don't care if you hire black people. Just listen, don't come, messing around with what I have going on to get your diversity in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically what she said. Hey, listen, I don't care what you do. I don't care who you hire. Just make sure it doesn't trample on what I'm working with. Oh, all right. All right, Miss Diversity. She one of them woke people too. Until it messes with her. Unbeknownst to Nichols, her video camera was on and the call was being recorded to a server at ESPN's headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut. It is not clear why her camera was on, but most people at ESPN believe that Nichols, using new technology during a pandemic, did not turn it off properly. Yet, she's the only one who's had a private phone call come out as a result. All of the kids who were using Zoom and different things like that for school, everybody was using Zoom for work. Not many leaked phone calls came out. Joe Biden had the purposefully leaked phone call come out where he was trying to preemptively stop any, push from black people to put legislation in office. Speaking of which, in case anybody was aware or in case anybody cares, hate crimes are up against black people 30%. And Joe Biden is still just bumbling around. So that's happening. we're dealing with that. But it's okay, Joe Biden, you know what I mean? Good old Joe. He take care of us. You know what I'm saying? Joe will take care of us. So now here it says dozens of ESPN employees have access to the company's video servers as part of their normal workflow. At least one of these people watched the video on the server, recorded it on a cell phone, and shared it with others. Soon, more copies of the conversation were spreading around ESPN, and within hours, it reached ESPN's executives, in part because of some of the comments made from Mendelsohn. He is a prominent, now remember, do you guys remember who Mendelsohn is? He is a prominent political and communications strategist who has worked for the giant private equity firm TPG, was a communications director and deputy chief of staff for Arnold Schwarzenegger, then the governor of California, and is a co-founder of James Voting Rights Group, More Than a Vote, which focused on encouraging access for Black voters in the 2020 election. What do you guys think about this? This is like the leaked Biden tapes when he told Sharpton and the other bootlicks to work with Hispanics. Yeah, big facts. Sleepy Joe, big facts. I don't know. It sounds all choreographed. Yeah, I gotta agree. It's poorly planned. It's chaotic. It doesn't make logical sense, right? So my question is, do we understand the necessity of Mendelssohn? Not only is Mendelssohn LeBron James's advisor, look at all the positions, all the strategy positions, and all the political positions that Mendelssohn has had. What do you think about that? And look who Mendelssohn was having this casual conversation with. So I got to ask you guys the question. Do you think if Rachael Nichols felt safe and comfortable? Because I got to now, I think isn't Jalen Rose, he's with a woman of a different ethnicity, I believe, right? Now I got a question. Do you think that Mendelssohn would have been comfortable making those kind of comments or having that kind of conversation around Jalen Rose's wife? Nah, I don't think he would have, because I think Jalen Rose's wife might have said something, especially because we all know how Jalen Rose is. But what he did and what Rachael Nichols did was they talked about these kind of things in the confines of where they thought that they were alone. And look at the way that they discuss things. But this is Rachael Nichols, quote, woke-de-woke. And this is a dude that allegedly founded some, quote, alleged voting rights action advocacy thing with LeBron James. So now the antennas is up for real on LeBron James. What are you actually doing with your advocacy? Like I said, ESPN has been dropping in popularity. They are trying to get relevant. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm with you, MC Fact. I definitely agree. I definitely agree that there is definitely a staged element to all of this. I'm 100% with you on that. I'm right there with you. What do you think about all of this political background, though? Did anybody know that this reached this deep into politics? They hid this in this New York Times article because they knew that people aren't going to read it. But this was what I do with my live streams. When it comes to the live streams, this is what we're going to do. We're going to break these things down. We're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to make it make sense. All right? Because that's important. We have to make things make sense. We have to. We don't have a choice. Okay? So now here it says, in a recording of the video obtained by the New York Times, Nichols and Mendelsohn paused for a moment during the conversation after Nichols said she planned to wait for ESPN's next move. Mendelsohn, who is white, then said, "I don't know. I'm exhausted. Between Me Too and Black Lives Matter, I got nothing left." Nichols then laughed. So what I find even more interesting is that nobody's really criticizing Mendelsohn. And remember, Mendelsohn is LeBron James's partner, and Mendelsohn allegedly helped LeBron James co-found an alleged black voting advocacy group. No, between Me Too and Black Lives Matter, I got nothing left. What? It's called critical thinking. Facts. So this is exhausting. Black Lives Matter, you know what I'm saying? And Me Too is exhausting for Mendelsohn. You got to ask yourself a question, though. Why is everybody only going at Rachael Nichols? MC Fact, you asked a question about LeBron James. Or, I mean, you asked a question about Kwame Brown. Now, again, I haven't heard Kwame Brown's live stream all the way through 100%, but I got to ask the question. I haven't really heard the name Mendelsohn being asked to answer for anything. I mean, because as far as I'm concerned, Mendelsohn's comments are equally impactful to Rachael Nichols, right? I mean, listen, I'm just tired of Black Lives. This is exhausting. Jeez, does anybody have any ice bags and oxygen? I can't take this anymore. But you're benefiting from it, though. You're benefiting from it, and you're engaging yourself in it. But it's exhausting. Why isn't anybody asking about Mendelsohn? Why isn't anybody calling him out? Why isn't anybody calling the CEO of ESPN out? They know these people's names. I don't have some secret leaked documents. I got the New York Times that I reinvest my YouTube money into, keeping up with articles and different things like that. I don't have any top secret information. This isn't top secret. You know what I'm saying? The link for this will be in the description box. You know what I'm saying? Question is, why is nobody talking about this in this much detail? That's the question. That's the question. So let's listen to this. This is 1 minute and 47 seconds. I don't know. Yeah, see, look, now we got to deal with more ads. They got 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 seconds full of ads. And I swear when these ads are playing, it seems like forever. You know what I mean? Did y'all hear that? I mean, between Me Too and Black Lives Matter, I got nothing left. Well, then why do you keep engaging yourself in it? Because no one's forcing you to support Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? Nobody's out here forcing you to support that. Nobody's out here forcing you to support Me Too either, but you are. And then you turn around and cry about it being exhausting. What? I don't know. I'm exhausted. This dude's name is Adam Mendelsohn, but I don't hear many people talking about it. Mendelsohn, I got to look up who he really is. Hint, hint. I'll stop there. You already know. I already know what you mean. You know what I mean? Why do you think he was talking to Rachael Nichols? Hint, hint. I'll stop there. You know what I mean? I wonder if Henry Motzowitz, you know, when Martin Luther King wasn't around, I wonder if Henry Motzowitz ever like got on the phone with Daniel Patrick Moynihan and said, you know, between Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement and Malcolm X and all this, this is exhausting. I got nothing left. I wonder if he said that. I wonder if that went down. I wouldn't doubt it. They didn't have people was getting wiretapped back then. So, you know, I think there was a racist conversation that came out between, I think, Reagan and like Nixon and Moynihan. I mean, it's 2021. How many times has this stuff happened? I mean, how many more conversations are going to come out like this? What do we do with it? What are we changing? How are we going to change it? This is the same thing that I asked about yesterday in that podcast that I recorded. Okay, we pulled up. Now what? Rachael Nichols is getting digitally pulled up on. Now what? Network is still backing her. She's still married to the billionaire husband. Nothing's changed except for she just doesn't have her own girl thing. You know, she's a, you know, career woman or whatever. Now she has these issues. I mean, so she'll go somewhere else and get a job easily. What's changed? Has any of this changed anything for the better? Who's actually dealing with the brunt of this? Hey, what's up, Nikki? What's going on? Who's actually dealing with the brunt of this is my question. You have Jason Fatlock. You like the setup? That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm glad you enjoy the setup. This is what I do, man. Like I'm telling y'all, any proceeds that I receive, I reinvest them back into the platform, whether it's with better equipment, whether it's with more accurate news, whether it's, you know, getting somewhere, getting access to some information, because I'm telling y'all, I got plans. I got plans. And I want to take everybody with me and try to help benefit, you know what I'm saying, from the plans. Because we got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Got to start somewhere. Stuff don't just fall out the sky. That's what they teach you. That's what they have you just sitting around. Oh, man, I'm down to do a NARC broadcast anytime. Shit. Just let me know. People need to talk about that shit. I think Stacey Elevated would be down to do that too. She's been talking about that. People need to know about narcissism. People need to know about all kinds of psychological issues, because what we see is psychological conditioning, narcissism, behavioral issues, all in practice. You know what I mean? We see that all over the place, like right in the news. You know what I mean?
And at like 2 in the afternoon, like 3 days from now, you're gonna have to be like a perfect person. Yeah. But that's it. Like that's the average. Yeah.
It's like you could frame it almost into something like you could actually generate a really interesting conversation about how it's, you know, just so very white male who are then in turn two women with each other to compete over the one spot that they're paying me over. That's a broader conversation about all the spots.
So you have to, this is what MC Fact, I think, was talking about. MC Fact, are you still in here? This is what I find interesting. These two quote, this quote, white man and this quote, white woman, quote, end quote. Now they go on this rant about criticizing, quote, white males. Who criticizes white males publicly? That's white. That must mean, like, inside of the broader white community, for some reason, Mendelsohn and Nichols don't identify with white the way that you'd think they do, but they're visibly white. That's interesting. How come nobody's talking about that dynamic? Oh, we're going to make it about Maria Taylor. Okay, yeah, Maria Taylor got done wrong. Facts, big facts. I totally agree. You know what I'm saying? But let's actually dissect the larger problem that when not in the camera, these two, this white male and this white female, are talking about white males as if they're outside the white dynamic, as if they're outside of white society. So by them discussing white society as if they're outside of white society, what society are you a part of? What are you talking about? And now, MC Facts, you asked a question about who can and can't be trusted. Luke, I think, was it Marcus? Did I say the name right? Lucas. I'm sorry. Lucas had actually brought up what people don't say. They actually say a lot. So by people not bringing up, well, why are they removing themselves from white society and talking about it? No, yeah, absolutely they are. Absolutely they are. But now we're inside of a different bubble. We're inside of a different dynamic. Now we're inside of a different Venn diagram. See how that works? Now we're inside of a different diagram with a different intersectionality, with different mutual inclusivity and mutual exclusivity. But for some reason, nobody will touch this. We're not going to touch this. We're not going to talk about it. And who is actually talking? I mean, I haven't heard anybody. I've heard all the black content creators. I've heard all the black content creators, you know, just saying all of this stuff and saying all of that stuff. I'm curious to know as to why Rachael Nichols specifically chose this individual to have a conversation where they, quote, remove themselves from white society and criticize, quote, white males. What part of white society are you part of? What are you talking about? Because again, if we're going to use the same narrative and we're going to use the same jargon, quote, aren't they being bigoted towards white men? Isn't that what everybody cries? Well, you just can't be a straight white male in this society anymore. Okay. I'm waiting for the straight white male content to question them about what they're talking about. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for a video from Tim Pool or Steven Crowder or Mark Dice or any of those people to come up with this and talk about what, quote, white males they're talking about, but they won't do it because they know they get checked, because they know as soon as they start going into that, that's when their account's going to get gone. So they got to then bring it back to us in that pyramid hierarchy. They won't do it. Won't nobody do it? Because I'm not doing anything. I haven't said anything about anybody yet. I've just asked questions. I find it interesting. So I don't think that the questions that we're being told to ask are even the right questions to ask. My question for Rachael Nichols is, what made you pick Mendelsohn, and how did you know that you could comfortably identify with him, pull yourself out of white society, and then turn around and criticize white men? Inside of white society, what white men are you criticizing? Who are these white men that you're criticizing? Isn't Mendelsohn himself a white man? How does that work? Who are you talking about? My question is, out of everybody everybody that's doing content about this, including Kwame. Why we ain't asking that question? Ain't that question gonna really tell you who the go along, get along gang is? Don't they pay the paychecks for the go along, get along gang? So why are we not asking that question? Why are we dancing around that question? Anybody? White and black. I'm asking white content creators and I'm asking black content creators. I'm asking liberal content creators and I'm asking conservative content creators. Why are we not going to why are we not why are we not going to quote talk about the quote racist comments quote that Rachael Nichols and Adam Mendelsohn made about quote white males? Why aren't we doing that? Why does anybody think that is? I mean, because they clearly said it. They said it all right here. We'll run this back again.
I don't know, I'm like, I'm exhausted. Me too, but I'm not ready.
Think about it. And at like 2 in the afternoon, like 3 days from now, you're gonna have to be like a perfect. Yeah. But that's it. Like that's the answer.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's like you could frame it almost interesting, like you could actually generate a really interesting conversation about how it's, just so.
It's just so very white male. Now, this is coming from a white male. So what are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Since you've separated yourself from other white males, what do you consider yourself that makes you different from those white males that you're talking about? How come ain't nobody asking that question? How come ain't nobody criticizing, quote, this racism? Because you know what the people, people in the media like to do. If somebody calls somebody a coon, look at that black person being racist toward that other black person, which I don't understand how you can be the same race and be racist towards each other. But okay. All right, sure. Look at all the hate crimes. Black people committing black on black crime. It's hate crime against other black people. So if black lives really mattered, then black people wouldn't kill each other. Okay, cool. If white people really didn't have white guilt, then they would talk about who the hell they actually talking about. Right? See how that works? It's all a cloaking game. Yeah, absolutely. If white people really didn't have white guilt, then wouldn't Adam Mendelsohn be unapologetic in saying who he is versus who he's talking about? But he does. But notice how he doesn't do that. But notice how he went directly to Rachael Nichols to say that stuff. So nobody's going to talk about that internal racism there. No live streams about that. No criticisms about that. No repeated questioning of that. That in itself is interesting, but okay. All right, cool. So we're going to go back into our own little reality world and act like this doesn't exist. It's not a reality world. People deal with who they want to deal with, and people pick battles that they think they can win.
Very white male who are then in turn to women each other to compete over the one spot that they're banging over. That's a broader conversation about all the spots that should be able to.
There isn't just one seat at the table for a minority of whichever version this week we're trying to please.
Oh, look at how clearly they articulate about these tactics. Isn't that interesting? Huh. You guys don't find it interesting that these people are clearly articulating about these tactics, choosing minorities, whichever minority they want to use this week? But in a conversation with me or you, if we talk about manufactured minorities, they'll, what, my manufactured minority? What the hell are you talking about? I don't see color. Man, I don't see color. Seems when you're not in the public eye, you have a very extensive understanding of all of this.
There isn't just one seat at the table for a minority of whichever version of this week we're trying to please.
If you think about it, this is precisely the problem we've been talking about.
So this is a problem that they've been talking about, and they've been talking about this for a long time. So then you have to ask yourself who this dude is in cahoots with. So clearly this dude is deep within the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? He's dealing with LeBron James, and he helped to create that voting thing, right? So now he says we're dealing with a problem. Who is Joe Biden trying to create as his new voter constituent? The casual, everyday, racist, liberal Karen, i.e. these two. It's all about appealing to the flavor of the audience they want to bring in. Yeah, that's facts. Did you see that right there? Hold on real quick. So again, he mentions white men. So you gotta keep asking, like, what is this dude talking about? What are you talking about, dude?
You don't get to have a black woman in a prominent spot and feel like, okay, I'll work it done.
We're not.
And you certainly don't get to say, I mean, you have a right to
You have to ask yourself the question, why are we, if we're talking about minorities, we're talking about minorities. So it should be minority women only, because women who are part of the majority aren't part of a minority group. You're not a minority. You're part of a people group.
Yeah. Now, that we're going to put a black woman in that case. The question is, where the other seats that white males are in? That should be a consideration.
So there's that. So again, my question for you guys is, what do you think about that? What do you guys think about that? That's the question. What's going on there? Do you guys see the shade? Do you see the shadiness and all of that? So now here, this is the response, all right? Because this is where we were just a second ago. All right. So we're going to go here. So again, remember, Mendelsohn didn't answer any follow-up questions about the conversation. And if one thing you notice is that these times when they ask people these questions, they don't respond to any questions. They don't answer any questions. I'm just not going to answer. He's spinning the narrative. This is like some Vlad crap. Well, it's probably a reason for that. He's absolutely spinning the narrative. In response to questions from the Times, Nichols said that she was frustrated and was unloading to a friend about ESPN's process, not about Maria. But she added, my own intentions in that conversation and in the opinions of those in charge at ESPN are not the sum of what matters. If Maria felt the conversation was upsetting, then it was. And I was the cause of that to her. Nichols said she reached out to Taylor to apologize through text and phone calls. Maria has chosen not to respond to those offers, which is completely fair and a decision I respect, Nichols said. Taylor declined to comment. Well, I'm sure, she don't want to be involved in all of this. You know what I mean? Like now that people are trying to question the validity of her career, and you got Jason Whitlock, you know, dripping sausage grease all over the place. You know what I mean? So now it says Nichols said the recording of the video by an ESPN colleague was hurtful. I was shaken that a fellow employee would do this, and that other employees, including some of those within the NBA project, had no remorse about passing around a spy video of a female coworker alone in a hotel room. She said, adding, I would in no way suggest that the comments came to light should grant a free pass on them being hurtful. So that was basically her, you know what I'm saying, throwing her last, you know, yeah, shame on you guys for being off code type thing out there. Krulwich said the spokesman said a diverse group of executives thoroughly and fairly considered all the facts related to the incident and then addressed the situation appropriately. We're proud of the coverage we continue to produce, and our focus will remain on Maria, Rachel, and the rest of the talented team collectively serving NBA fans. All right. So, guess what? I've been live for 3.5 hours. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but that's a long ass time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys while you're in here. I want to finish this stuff up, though, because I think it's important. And I want to ask you guys the question. Should we do a part 2 to this tomorrow? If you guys are interested in me doing a part 2 of this tomorrow, let me know. Type in 1 into the comments or just say, yeah, let's do a part 2. If you've had enough, you're tired of listening to this, you know, okay, like I get the whole Rachael Nichols thing. This is enough. Then let me know as well. And we'll move on to something else because there's plenty. I'm so backed up on content. I can't get it out fast enough. It's only, you know, a certain amount of time in a day. It's one of the reasons why I keep doing these live streams. You guys know I don't like live streaming. You know what I mean? But I'm doing it for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because I am very appreciative that you guys appreciate my content and value spending your time with me. So I want to make sure that I keep you up to date and give you something that's worth watching and something that keeps you current. All right. So type your responses in here or type them on the actual comment thread of the live stream. All right. Because I'm about to end this bad boy. And I'm going to put a community post up of this too. So if you want to continue this discussion, type it in the comments, type it in the comment on the video, look for the community wall post and vote. All right. And if the answer is overwhelmingly yes, we will be back at this again tomorrow. All right. So with that being said, that's the end of this live stream. I hope y'all enjoyed it. In 2 hours on the other channel, me and Izzy. I'll see y'all over there. All right. Peace.